Alrighty, we're back again on a Tuesday, and normally I would continue Outer Wilds today, but one of my main mods who really wanted me to play the game, I mean I kind of wanted to play the game too, won't be here, so I will not stream Outer Wilds today. We'll pick it up when Fire is Good is back tomorrow. So this is something I was even going to do last week, but then he was able to show up for it. So what we'll be doing this time is I'll be finally continuing technically the Final Fantasy marathon. So the second half of the Final Fantasy remake came out over a year ago, and I literally restreamed the entire first game. Like, actually streamed it, because the first time I only streamed like the last few, and I never like saved the streams on YouTube. This time I restreamed the whole thing, and then the new game came out, and I just didn't play it, and it's been over a year now. And it's been just a running meme of, oh, I'll play Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'll get to it. But we're at the point where a couple weeks ago, I ended up missing an entire week of streaming because I was sick. I've only been streaming for like 3 days a week, and I haven't been doing like Thursday streams, and I haven't been doing like, the only time I really flexed my freedom was when I did the Metaphor streams, and that was like 15 streams of like 8 hours. Hey, Bobby Bob, how's it going? Yeah, so I'm just So I definitely wanted to do a, yeah, because I ended up having that 1 week where I was sick, and then I did 3 streams and I've just been doing 3 streams a week around that time anyway. I haven't been doing like a Thursday stream or anything like that, and I haven't really streamed much on the weekends, since a lot of the weekends are being eaten up. So yep, I wanted to start another long stream game, and that will be Final Fantasy VII Part 2 here, or the remake. Since, like I said, it's been over a year, and I keep saying I'm going to play it, so we're finally going to get started on it. And yeah, so it's good to get into it. So I'll be streaming some more of these things during the day, so it'll be fine. All right, let's get this up, and it'll be good to see everyone again, because it's still a solid game. I know other of my friends have played it too, and it's just haven't played it for whatever reason. Okay, so the Final Fantasy VII Remake has had a lot of different changes. Like in the first part, they messed with the story a bit, so it just really wasn't. So people weren't expecting it to be the same thing that they always were looking for, because they were changing the story because they wanted to make it multiple games because they wanted to increase the length. And they also wanted to do things. So the story will be a bit different. In fact, it's actually not, it's weird because people were first saying that the first game wasn't exactly doing the same thing as the source material. And then in this part of the remake, they in fact completely didn't make it a RPG anymore. They changed the entire game to be a visual novel. It's like a murder mystery visual novel. So like the whole one-winged angel rebirth plot, they actually use that in a very interesting way. So I think it's going to be fun to give this finally a start after all this time. So I'm going to have to edit the settings a little bit here. Hold on. Well, I mean, they added in a whole lot of different ways of playing Final Fantasy VII, so they kind of removed the difficulty. So you don't really do the fights anymore. You just kind of fight through it. What I want to do is I want to be able to... we want to keep the text going kind of fast here. The auto text, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do any of the skipping of that right now. The sound, we're going to keep some of the volumes a bit lower here. Once it actually moves. Now they have sound effects volume. Here you go. Character voices. We're going to keep them on. Can I kind of want to just put them low, just so they'll be here. So as you can see, Cloud's design is much different than it has been in previous games. In fact, at least Tifa's design looks a lot the same. They completely changed Barrett, and I don't really like this. First of all, I don't think it's okay to be race swapping characters like that, especially when you're removing like their entire weaponry. And like, I mean, come on, man. Like they also keep. I mean, I know that Sephiroth was effeminate in the other ones, but man, they really changed him. So, you know, it's just a weird thing that you're gonna have to deal with. Anyway, alright, bow. I bid you welcome to the world of this visual novel, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. I am nobody special, honestly. Simply consider me part of the interface. You may refer to me as Rikako. You are more likely playing this game for the first time, and I'm here to explain a few things about it. This work is quite strange. Maybe it might be. Actually, it's probably still a little bit too high. I want to put it like low. I want the volume to be there, but I want it to be like low. Actually, I have no idea if that's like super low or if that's muted. You know what? I guess we'll find out. That was Barrett, right? All right, let's see what Barrett's voice is like. Nope, it's completely muted still. Ah, fuck it. Who gives a shit? I'm gonna be doing this thing. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. We're just gonna go to options. Just gonna mute them all. Then the other, everybody, right? Yeah. Okay. What do you mean? I mean, like, once again, like I said, Sir Bobby Bob, changing Barrett's design, just completely not acceptable. Although, you know, it is pretty cute. Those uploading their gameplay should at least read the for videos and sharing section. Oh. Well, I mean, who's gonna do that? If you read until the end, you'll find a sexy CG of me doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society, a harsh society. How sad. Now, where should I begin? About this game, videos and sharing. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is a visual novel, meaning that the story, events, and conclusions are very important. Because of this, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. I'd be sad, very sad. Then again, we do understand those who want to enjoy their work with many other people. Because of this, we have to set a guideline for how we would like you to upload. This range covers the whole first main route and a little extra. Specifically, you can only upload the choice at 4 infiltration Q entering the village. That's a lot. What do you mean, raging loop? Sir Bobby Bob, come on. You come into my stream and you just start spouting nonsense. We're playing Final Fantasy Remake Part 7 here, alright? I mean, come on. I mean, don't you like Barrett? I actually think it's a bit too much. Uploaders who read everything aloud might get a sore throat. Please don't overdo yourselves, alright? Fuck you. Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function. If you... Okay, whatever the hell that said. When you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange sheep pops into the screen and says, "End of the line." We would be grateful if you stop recording when you see him and try theorizing and arguing instead. Okay. This function is currently set to off. Sure. Very well. I've set it to on. If you wish to change it, please go to O introduction and come here again. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is a visual novel RPG. Much like with regular RPGs, the story is told through text, and the enjoyment comes from reading it. If you're familiar with the party games Werewolf and Mafia, this visual novel bears a close resemblance to those, but keep in mind that it's just a resemblance. Sincerest apologies, as though we're hoping to play an eternal game of werewolf for 20 super AI Rikakos. I weep and bleed for you, truly. How sad. Of course, this is not merely a novel. As you carry on, you will sometimes come upon choices which affect the story. It's quite amazing. The characters have lively visual depictions, as well as voices, making it easy to immerse yourself in this world. Voices provided not by the game, but by our unpaid intern, Iconport. To enjoy these voices to the fullest extent, or to simply avoid bothering your neighbors with the sound of anguished screams, please consider using headphones. This story is obscenely lengthy as well, so please take care not to be drawn in so thoroughly that you begin losing sleep. Also, you may be aware of this already, but Raging Loop is based entirely around fabricated murders and horrific scenarios in the Final Fantasy setting. It's tailor-made to give a environmental lesson about Mako and Souls for all of your fans of suspense, thrillers, horror, and eco-fascism. Of course, this is a work of reality and has nothing to do with real people, groups, or incidents. It also includes fictional details about academic matters such as history, religion, mythology, science, and medicine. Relying upon it during exams would get you 0 points. How sad. I gotta love action commands. See, that's why you know you have the active battle system. It's so good. Lastly, we do not endorse replicating the crimes and cruelty depicted in this work. There is nothing to worry about as long as you differentiate between reality and fiction. This is, after all, fiction. I'm sure you're intelligent enough to not complicate things and have... Okay, yeah, I get you. What do you mean, Sir Bobby Bob? We're explaining how you play Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Look, like I said, it's a remake. I'm sorry, they've done a lot of reimagining. It really sucks, I know, but I did enjoy the first one, so I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. They said they put a lot of different mini games into this, and I just wanted to play Fort Condor, but you know what? It's going to take a while before we get the Fort Condor. So settle down, take that caps lock off, and enjoy the ride. About special functions. Allow me to tell you about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2's special functions. Final Fantasy VII Part 2's story branches out in ways so complicated it might be hard to follow. But there's no need to worry, for we have included a handy function called the scenario chart. Excuse me. I have played Final Fantasy VI. Final Fantasy VI was had so many routes, I think I can handle the 7th game in this series pretty easily. Alright? You can access it anytime by simply opening the menu, giving you an overview of the scenario. That is all. That is not all. Using the chart allows you to move to any chapter you've already been to, anytime, anywhere. Now there's no need to save at every choice you come across. You can simply go back and choose again. So there's nothing to worry about. The scenario chart function can be explained again when you have used it. So don't worry if you don't quite understand it. Next up is keys. All branching in the story happens immediately when you make a choice. And some of them start taking effect either down the line. However, some of the actions can only be unlocked when you have specific bits of information called keys. Many might say that searching for these keys is one of the major goals in this game. Don't worry if you don't understand how to search for them. It will be explained when you have one. Alright. This also means that you can't load back to a state when you didn't have the key. This doesn't make any sense, any scene inaccessible, so it's not much of a problem, but it's something to keep in mind. For those commendable individuals who would like to play without any keys again, please refer to the data reset option and use it wisely. Okay, let's go. Phew, that sure took a while. Thank you kindly for reading this far. Anyway, let's begin the story. Beyond the pockets of mist and hazes the blood, at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief, please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own 2 eyes. Bow. (5/11). Oh my god, that day will forever live in infamy. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. It just followed the road. See, Cloud on his famous motorcycle. See, we're like we're like right on where we're supposed to be. Like, this is great. Like, I know people were, they got rid of the hair and they just made it, normal. But you know what? I love my protagonists to be middle-aged brunette men. That's what I like, and I'm glad they finally removed the unnecessary expectations of men from Final Fantasy VII. If you've ever seen the Popeye R's that he had in the first game before the remake, I'd be like, come on, I can't compete with that. All right, I do not have enough spinach in the world to get my forearms that big. Anyway, I just followed the road, so I figured I wouldn't get lost, but now I was in some deep shit. No, cool it. This isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket journal, and then pulled out a map. You wrote in a pocket journal that you got, Dear Diary, I'm lost. Well, this is definitely one of my streams then. Maybe that's me. Suddenly, a rush of memories flitted into my mind. Forget it? Okay, so I'm eventually going to need a key to come back to this opening scene to remember something. Okay. See, Bob, that's why you shouldn't keep a diary, because if anyone found your diary, damn, they'd be disappointed. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. After all, I had gone on this trip to forget. Ugh. Enough of that. I gotta focus on what's happening right now. Life is simple. See? Cloud strife. Life is simple. Just like the road, it's dark and there aren't any guides. But that means you gotta think about is whether you go forward or back. Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I just moved forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for guessing which intersections had been passing through, and that it had taken me 2 hours to conclude I was lost. Crazy to think that just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. They extend as far as the eye could see. If you flipped the scenery upside down and shook it, like a chessboard, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tumble out. Besides, the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and that lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was. Guess I'll just keep driving. And go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could camp at the side of the road. Two hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain had no side to camp on. A dump truck I'd passed barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounters with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of the deer had run parallel to my bike. And then we killed the deer, and we got 50 experience for it, while intensely staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. I felt like I could smell my fear, and did it just to make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it. I'd have to remember to eat some venison when I came back to civilization. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I ended up as either roadkill or animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy. And I won't pretend See? He's got a dark brooding past. I'm glad at least they're keeping Cloud's true, backstory the same, no matter how much they change his design. That was actually the reason why my more comfortable relationship had gone awry, and that's why I'd gone on this stupid trip. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep... Wait! Changing his memory? Oh, it must be Zack! Because remember, at the end of the first Final Fantasy game, we saw Zack showed up and he was like a real person who wasn't dead? Oh, then this must be Zack! Oh, obviously. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. I was actually starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. It was really getting late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyway? It's like this damn animal ran at me and looked at me. Motherfucker, I bitched out in a second, but the moment I get back to civilization, I'm gonna have me some pork and venison, alright? I'd probably be disappearing soon enough. The road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant, though, so I still didn't see much. Even so, the street lights and signs were enough to make me feel I was again nearing civilization. Was streetlights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. No, that's called aliens. That's the Flatwoods monster. You kind of want to stay away from that one. As the road grew less rugged, I realized just how exhausted I was. All this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A convenience store? Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to the intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could possibly sport only a single car. The sea of trees ended giving room for the majestic child of our consumerist society. See, once again, they're already, like, he's talking shit about Shinra Corp already. Perfect. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently, even a damn store was a big deal for someone who just stepped out of the wild. It was called Fresh Marquet. I've seen several of them a few times during the... Fresh Mako! Ah, I get it now. I've seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look all that old. At least, the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This is a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. Was I close to a settlement? Or do they actually make a profit off the lost travelers? I just asked it. You know what the best part about this is? Fire is good is watching this with it muted. So he technically could read along. He could technically read along. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention I was thirsty. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It sounded like a normal convenience store. There were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and... Whoa! The worker at the convenience store was so mean-looking and scary. She was imposing. I could have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Hey! That's supposed to be a greeting? It was a damn cold that actually gave me chills. Was the store shadier than it appeared? Or was it about to be stupidly overcharged? Was this how this place made a profit, by taking advantage of lost people and basically beating them out of their money? Shit, that was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! Bing bing woohoo! I sure was excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, so she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. It's about what you'd expect. There was a small shelf with energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, stationary stuff, etc. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup of ramen, dried food, a fridge, a freezer. Oh, so it must be a dwarven store. It all looked normal. It was late, so the daily-ish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was a section full of unpacked vegetables you expect to see at a greengrocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this. It was slightly surprised by that. There weren't any local fine foods or anything. So all in all, it was an unremarkable store, if you ignored the clerk anyway. I took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? This is obviously Johnny. Normally I wouldn't, you know, I'd be like, damn, I can't believe they feminized the character. But you know what? After watching the first part of the remake, Johnny deserved, all right? You know, actually buying. Yes, I was actually buying. She was the clerk, and I'd be her god, the customer. 126 yen. She didn't even scan it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Maybe I had to get mad at her. Can I ask something? Huh? I'm kind of lost right now. I quickly turned meek. Where can I find the nearest town? There. Do you have a map or something? We don't. Man, this woman. I'm not sure I believe that. Convenience stores often get asked for directions. You must have a map handy. Is that a rule? Well, we don't have one. Go back wherever you came from. I've been lost for a few hours now. I don't think I can keep it up for much longer. Sleep on the floor or something. She had to be joking. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd rather be on my way. Are you sure you can't help? All right, just wait. The clerk put out her smoke in the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. Yeah, so, you know, Johnny becoming a smoking, what's that term? Femdom, becoming a femdom, asking for money and everything. Like, damn, didn't see that coming. You know, sometimes lots of visual novels like this tend to be like, have a lot of hentai in them. So, you know, I can understand some of these themes that are coming through. Just, you know, I at least know that this is a clean one and won't get me banned. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. But anyway, she came back in no time. Found it. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation. This here is the store. Go to the north of the crossroads. You'll find an overpass soon enough. Cross it. When you come to the fork next to a giant boulder, turn right and head straight. Oh, on this road? What of it? There's nothing there. There's a settlement. It's just not on the map. Do you know any of the places? There's Fujiyoshi, but it's 2 hours to a mountain pass. This one's about 30 minutes away. Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was a huge, branching mess. It was clearly just a paved mountain pass. I had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again. I'll go to that one then. Thank you. Money. Excuse me? You didn't pay for the tea. Here's 500 yen. Ding, Russell, ding. Oh, why did you put the change in the collection box without asking me? Having too many coins is a pain, ain't it? That was a hell of a line. I casually thanked her. Grabbed the plastic bottle of the tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way. Okay. Bitch maid? Did you need a bag? You grabbed an iced tea and you're like, oh, I didn't get a bag for this. Fuck you. This is an environmentalist tale. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. How dare you? You need to... Sacrilege. Burn the witch. Burn him. And left the store. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by clouds, but still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood, though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle to a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Following directions, I crossed the overpass and arrived at the first fork of the road. The byway, she told me, was already narrow. I probably wouldn't have noticed it were not for the tall boulder standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wilderness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Yeah, like I said, or maybe this is even Zach. I know Zach was like a pretty chill guy, but who knows? Maybe he was just a litter bug at heart. Still, I really didn't expect the road to just end. It happened about 15 minutes in. The view ahead suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards, and the suspension was put into the greatest test yet, as we basically tumbled down to the bottom. Well, luckily he has soldier reflexes, so he should be able to handle a tumble like this. In fact, I believe he even survives... Was it the other way? Was it that he gets stabbed in the chest? And you know what? That's spoilers for later on in this game, so I'm not going to say that. The headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew what I had been flung out of my seat. You can take this for at least another 2.5 hours, Sir Bobby Bob. That's my normal stream length. Get onto it. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering. Well, see, that's the thing. You don't need to remember Final Fantasy VII, because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII right now. So all you have to do is watch, and there you go. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down. See? He even has brake magic. He's using his materia to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big of a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came... when don't you, Sir Bobby Bob? A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which we came to an unpleasant pain. Got him. Got him. Got him. You now have to gift us up. You do not have to do that. Damn it. An accident where I was flung out like I was the first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment, and the pain was so bad I thought all my bones shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine, at least, though I wasn't sure that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves, and that the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down, with my hands sunk. The grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively. Okay, if this was a hentai light novel, visual novel, he would literally be on top of a girl, being like, "What are these boobs?" Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. Oh boy. It was lying on its side a short distance ahead. The engine was still on. The back wheel kept on turning. One second. Engine was still on. The back wheel kept turning, making a pleasant, fricative noise. What? Okay, I need to look. What is that word? Fricative noise. Fricative sound. Fricative sounds are consonant sounds produced by forcing air through a narrow channel in the vocal tract, creating a hissing or turbulent airflow. Ah, okay, gotcha. Yep, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness. It's not just darkness, it's absolute darkness. So I just stood and waited for my eyes to be adjusted. It's familiar, Sir Bobby Bob, because it's deja vu. Duh. I still couldn't see clearly, but it looked like I actually was in a cliff. This isn't the cliff. We're not at the cliff yet. The cliff comes in a couple chapters. I was still on the road. It just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzagging through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud. I told you, it's deja vu. I was partially stuck in mud, so there was no risk of it slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around. The moment I considered that, I thought I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pocket and took out my phone and opened it up. As you'd expect, I was out of range. I ran to the light app and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, it helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for. But, sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water, too. Might have been near a river. Hello? I raised my voice. Hello? Anyone there? Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take away a few years of our lives. Okay, the song is literally named Deja Vu, and it's from a series called Initial D. He was talking about his motorcycle, so I wanted to put something Initial D on, and you saying it sounded familiar, like you walked into that perfectly. So it was mwah. You are literally the best bit. Yeah, the court jester needs to stay in chat. That was why I figured it was best for both of us to let the others know we were here before that happened. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids? Hello? I shone my light ahead and realized they made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream, rather. I could see slightly more than I had surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach in the shallows. The light I'd seen was the other side. From what I could tell, it was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I figured that the crossing river barefoot at midnight was a bad idea. But man, it was cold. I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free in case I fell. Not stopping or backing down, I walked towards the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. I was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom with my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I'd probably be washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked into the light. I could already see it clearly. Yep, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. Okay, the music in the background right now almost made me think this is like fucking Silent Hill. Actually, hold up. Is that too loud? I want it to be at least hearable. I can always change it if I need to turn it up a little bit to hear. Yeah, when it was in the middle, it was probably too loud. Yeah, okay. Yep, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. What the hell? The flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. Like, this is literally the beginning of a fucking survival horror game. Pro tag gets lost out in a rural woods area somewhere and finds a flashlight. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight. Or rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday, afternoon or evening. And yet, the user was nowhere in sight. And I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there, practically buried in the pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. It was the dead of night. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right. The fact that the light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if someone heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me in with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Yep, my grandmother who used to live up in the mountains in the Poconos in the Pennsylvania, she would have a huge flashlights like that because you're literally up in the mountains. So it's like a great way just to, like, to see everywhere. I remember playing with those every once in a while. Just because it's just like even my grandparents down in Jersey had like this huge flashlight. But okay, so think of a flashlight that's like a paper towel tube, or actually no, think of it like a wrapping paper tube, but like, you know, so think of it like a 2-foot heft, and then this giant light at the end. And we would put 4 double D batteries, or D batteries, double D battery, Lamau. We'd put 4 D batteries in it, and it had this big little switch on it. So you'd switch it, clunk, and it had like 10 or more or 12 lights around the inside, and you just like, and it had this just giant blast of light. Me and my cousins would fuck around with that all the time. Where would they attack from? Above. Oh, and it was solid metal too, so it was like a club. Hello? I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them. Hello? Whoa, a person. You surprised me. That was my line. Sorry, could you pick that up for me? The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on. So you dropped this? I picked up the flashlight and pointed at the source of the voice. Ah, hey, Tifa finally showed up. High-pitched voice, slender hand shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman. It's so bright. Oh, sorry. This is me, by the way. That's creepy. Don't shine it from below like that. I'm actually a bit lost. I think a bit is something of an understatement then. Yeah, thought as much. Is this a settlement? That's a difficult question. Can you help me out at least? Help? I just need a place to hide from the rain and wild animals, that's all. Standing on a boulder, the young woman made a pensive face. Want to come to my place? And that was the conclusion she'd arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place. My place. By that, she surely meant a house. A settlement. Can I? I know I asked for help and all that, but I'm actually desperate enough not to hold myself back. Huh? As a man? Yes, as a living being. I spent the last few hours aimlessly driving around only to fall off my bike. I'm dead tired and I'm at my wit's end here. Oh dear. And what kind of living being would I be if I just abandoned you? And so, I was saved. On the beauty of a living beings looking out for each other. Anyway, your hand please. Huh? You can't climb on your own, yeah? True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which was followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. I was crippling now. She extended her left hand, so I grabbed it with my own left. Her slender fingers were stronger than expected. Honestly, you haven't asked her name. She's probably gonna... Okay, the girl's name was Tifa Lockhart. I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy, but she said that her family just adopted that name at some point in the Meiji period. She was a 21-year-old who went to college far from here. This was her hometown, so she was spending her post-exams vacation here. We chatted about stuff like that once she led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground. And what about you? Oh, I'm Cloud Strife, a graduate student in a Tokyo college. Ah, so you're a bit older. I'm 24, so 3 years. I'd say we'd be the same age range. So yeah, don't you dare be formal with me. Alright, then you can be as casual with me too. Can I really? I like it when girls are friendly with me. Haha, well, I know what you mean. I don't like stiff socializing either. Sure, I'll treat you like a friend. Wouldn't have it any other way. That aside, are we there yet? Not quite. We're like 5 minutes away. Hang in there, Chief. What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people. Also, watch your step and focus on just the light. Any reason? There are loads of pebbles here. It's dangerous. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to be called a pebble. And it's pretty dark tonight. I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand. I gotta change. Wait here a sec. And so, I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I expect some old wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. It was too dark to get a good look at it, but all I could see were the cheap-looking walls you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor, in room 202. I heard some raindrops were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Between that, the darkness at the large tree right next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in the world with nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. I distracted myself with that by imagining her changing. Eventually, the door opened up. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smiles. She showed herself now wearing sports clothes. This was kind of exciting. Look at this place. It's completely empty, huh? Yep. But get a load of what's in the fridge. Magnificent. Let's drink. Hell yeah. Yeah, her place really was empty. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the... let me find out right now for you, Sir Ralby Bob. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Rated T for teen. Nope, it's rated T for teen. There's just mentions of alcohol. We're perfectly fine. It was a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves, too, but they were completely empty. I wasn't bothered one bit, though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me.
Anyway, you went through some big trouble, so I'll drink to you.
And I'll drink to you for helping me out. You're a real saint. We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them.
Hey.
It was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo.
Ha! So good. Live for this.
Come on, you're too young to say that.
You're right. I'm not despairing for my future or love life yet.
You hear that? It's the sound of job hunting is a coming here fast.
No, don't say that. It'll ruin my beer.
She laughed and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear that she could hold a drink. That aside, something really bothered me. This might be a bit of late for this, but can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't in the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on. To you, I'm just some stranger who says he's lost, right?
Yup.
And you yourself are a young woman who invited that stranger into an enclosed space, and is starting to get drunk.
Oh?
Don't you think this is dangerous? She kept gulping the drink even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could just watch her do that made this pretty risky situation, and yet...
I wouldn't say so.
But...
Time for a time for a Tifa quiz.
Yay!
Here's the question. My virginity is threatened, yet I don't feel like I'm in danger. Why?
What a fun girl. This only made me like her more, increasing the danger even further. Am I allowed to ask questions?
Sure.
Can I just assume that's not because I look like a good guy?
Well, I don't think you look like a bad guy, but no. I doubt you're good either. You look experienced with women for one.
That unintentional compliment showed that what she actually did see me as a potential danger. There are 2 types of answers to this. Either you expect nothing bad to happen, but wouldn't be bothered if it did, or you actually want something to happen. I can't think of several situations for the former. For example, you're actually on the edge and don't care about what happens, or maybe you're just confident you can defend yourself. Maybe you know martial arts and can easily kick my ass. I mean, it is Tifa, so duh.
Whoa, so logical. Let me guess. You're a scientist.
Well, I guess you could say that. For now, the latter, if you're intended for something to happen, then.
I'm a thirsty perv or something.
Wow, talk about not mincing words.
I blame the booze, so what else is there?
Indeed. What other reason could a woman have to bring a stranger into her home? It would surely be something non-standard like, you want to use me somehow? For example, setting me up as an alibi? I could be useful for you for attesting that you were here.
Whoa, that's so shrewd.
Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here just to get me drunk and kill me?
Whoa, so I'm some super evil mountain witch now? Sounds great. I'll kill you real good. Splosh, splosh.
What kind of sound effect was that?
By the way, you forgot another case.
I did?
Yep. I could be just a really good person who simply wants to help you.
Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? But wait, is that what really important enough to risk being assaulted?
Oh, you're thinking of assaulting me?
I'm just thinking in general, you know, the cliche scenario. She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute I thought it was actually doing it on purpose. Man, she was drunk. She's not threatening his socks are wet, yeah. Maybe that's what she was saying when she was going splish splosh. The sound of his wet socks making. She's like, I know you're a loser. Your socks are all wet. And we were just on our second can.
Then how about this? If I don't let you stay here, something even worse would happen and I'd feel real bad.
Care to elaborate?
There's some scary wild animals around here. You might even gotten torn up and eaten. They'd have left a bad taste in my mouth, so I figured I'd just let you stay instead.
I see. So you're balancing risk and goodwill. Didn't expect that.
Really now? You got any idea how much of a bad guy you seem now?
I do?
I mean, you assumed I was a thirsty perv, a serial killer, or needed an alibi before considering I was just a nice person.
You're the one who brought up the perv thing.
Details, details. So what's the right answer?
We're not just messing around?
Get it right and I'm giving you a nice present. Get it wrong and you're dead. Splosh, splosh.
Seriously? There's a key to this. You're desperate. You need an alibi. You're a thirsty perv. You'd feel guilty if you let me die. But apparently there is a right answer. So, but apparently it says key 20, so maybe that's going to be late. You need an alibi.
Ding, 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 you're right.
I knew it.
Seriously, what did you think I was doing here so late? Weren't you suspicious?
Good point.
Assuming I was up to something really bad, your testimony would help hide it. How convenient.
Whoa.
Or maybe the settlement you stumbled into is actually a haunt of murderous psychos. Happens all the time in B-grade horror flicks.
And by saying you'd kill me if I got the answer wrong, you just spoiled the whole plot. It was you all along.
Oh no, I'm such an airhead. How embarrassing. Now I gotta kill you to make sure no one finds out.
Winners get death too?
Huh? Want me as a prize instead? Nope. Oh no.
Anyway, this girl was actually pretty sharp. She really had a way with words and knew how to capitalize on it. It almost felt as if she was implying that I couldn't let my guard down just because I was a guy. I admitted she was pretty damn attractive, but I felt like I'd have more fun just talking about rude stuff than acting on it. 512.
It's still 17. Final Fantasy 17.
The last thing I remembered was our little, when was the last time you pissed yourself while sleeping talk. I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk I wet my pants in the middle of a boarding house. She'd laughed so hard she started frothing at the mouth and passed out. I woke up with a splitting headache. Oh man. Morning already? Light poured into the frosted window. I pulled up my phone and checked the time. 7 in the morning. I'd gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't quite enough sleep. At least I didn't wake up to see some horror movie scene. The building wasn't in ruins and the girl wasn't actually a skeleton. Though, in a way, this might have been worse. She was spread out on the floor like the other side of the mini table. Her breathing was mixed with some weird gurgling sounds. I hesitantly looked at her. The saint that had saved me from the hell I was in last night had puked in the middle of her sleep. That was what I was supposed to do. What was I supposed to do here? As a guest, I couldn't really be too harsh on her. Kemi-chan. Tifa-chan. Phew. She wasn't waking up. Well, I just do a little I could. Well, that answers your drunk question, Sir Bobby Bob. The answer was yes. There, that should be good enough. I used tons of toilet paper to clean up her mess and flush it down the toilet. I left a stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so whatever. I'd even wet a towel and cleaned her face. Even then, she showed no signs of waking up. Some of it was on her hair and clothes, but I figured it was best if she took care of that herself. Tifa-chan.
Morning.
The first hint of consciousness so far today. I'll be leaving for a bit. Without waiting for a response, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change and all that, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes with my bare feet. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel she gave me to wipe my legs, and reached for the doorknob. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. The raindrops gathered on the leaves and the trees next to the building flew right in my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was pretty clear, but despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surroundings was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in a forest of leaves about as tall as itself. There were branches poking out the exposed hallway. It almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. I kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. I turned around and saw that the room and Kemi, just as I left them. Yep, it was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly, something entered my vision. Hey, Barrett finally shows up. It didn't feel right. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I moved revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. The moment I recognized her as such, I opened her closed eyes. Did our eyes meet? Ah, she has Mako poisoning. That's what's causing it to be red. Although I guess technically that would be... Tifa had red eyes, but we'll keep Tifa the other one. Anyway, another strong wind sheltered my face from a spray of raindrops. So now they're splitting Tifa into two characters. I don't like these remakes. The socks are a major plot point. You're just going to keep going back to him mentioning, where are my socks right now? Where are my socks right now? My socks are now sitting dry on my... When I looked outside again, the woman was nowhere in sight. Was that an illusion? If not, then what? What kind of place was this? I could have been a real Hicksville, a marginal village, a bunch of actual ruins, or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring, regardless. Well, oh, that's why the song is called One Socked Angel. I never understood it before. I always thought it was talking about his one wing. It's talking about his socks. Obviously. I went down the stairs and found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around, and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There were footprints in the grass there. Maybe I'd find her if I followed them. They led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was this supposed to be a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned. There were large rocks and lots of sediment near a prefab. But from what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide which forced them to stop construction. The fact that the plant growth was still minimal meant that it happened fairly recently. Don't mind me just hitting some water. The footprints seemed to be going down the hill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw something that could be called civilization. There was a set of paddy fields and horses nearby. So this actually was a settlement. What a relief. I decided to keep following the footprints and approach the settlement. I came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by people and cars. It was lined with weeds and bushes reaching up to my waist. It was home to caterpillars and grasshoppers, among other things. Spiders were no exception. There was no shortage of insects there, so it was a good place for a nest. I wasn't particularly scared of spiders, but I didn't like them either. At least they were just harmless orb weavers. Regardless, I avoided these bushes, just in case, and followed the path like the good city boy I was. There was a large boulder surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. On its dewy surface, there was a gray tree frog, ready to go after the many insects scattered about. I walked for a bit further and came across a house with a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume it belonged to the inhabitants. If there were inhabitants anyway. I couldn't see anyone, and just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another boulder standing next to the house. This one was obviously placed there by human hand. Was that the point? Was it a monument to something? The footprints continued in the field. The wet mud on the field was full of small, young, but healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignored the standing boulders in the area, the place looked like a normal farming village. I was both relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't many other buildings besides this one in the settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place was completely isolated, and I was a complete outsider. There was no way things would go well if I ran to a random locale. I belatedly crouched to hide myself a bit. It was probably best for me to go back. Kemi might be looking for me. Suddenly, I heard a sound. It looked for its source and found a speaker on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. A morning broadcast? I'd never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but at some parts that seemed really dark. Ah, no, that's just because all the townsfolk are going to bingo. I found that unsettling. Perplexed, I stopped walking at what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area densely surrounded by houses, but they weren't normal. What was with that appearance? What was that on her face? Reunion! Though I was a fair distance away, I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth over her face, shakily walking out from between the buildings. Oddly enough, there were boulders even there. But even weirder was the fact that she walked up to one of them, slightly joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then, all was silence. All was silence. It actually looked like she was revering it. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This was bad. Really bad. I wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me could get killed here. I just turned around and ran for it. I dashed up the hill, past the house, through the construction site, until I arrived back at the apartment building. Kemi looked like a relatively reasonable person. Maybe she could tell me what was up. It just hit me that the way she was described this place was somewhat weird. She basically said it wasn't normal. Or maybe you're a serial killer who brought me here just to get me drunk and kill me.
Whoa, so I'm some evil mountain witch now? Sounds great. I'll kill you real good, splosh splosh.
No way. What if she was actually the bait they used to lure outsiders here? Eventually, the broadcast stopped. Kimmy still hadn't come out of her room. She didn't respond even when I knocked and called out to her. I didn't have to worry about this, right? That just made my inexplicable unease grow worse. What if this was a trap? What if I was in a dangerous situation? I had to talk to her. If she was a normal person, anyway. Maybe my best option was to run away right now. I wouldn't know where to run. I couldn't remember the path we had taken here. I was pretty sure it went uphill, so maybe I just had to go down? If I avoided the settlement and went back to the mountain stream, I could escape by following the wild roads. That was my best option, even if the difficulties considered. Thankfully, I had taken my bag with me. I took out a 5,000 yen note and put it on Kemi's newspaper box. That was payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned around to take my leave, the door to the room next to the staircase opened slightly with a creak. I saw an eye glaring at me through the gap. God! Her high-pitched screams pierced my eardrums. I screamed too, scared shitless, and ran for it. Suddenly, I stepped onto the wet hallway floor on a bad angle. I fell. Thud, thud, thud.
Haru-chan, what's wrong?
Whoa, who's this old guy? Ah, who are you? And are you alright? The reasonable-sounding voice prompted me to shake off the pain and raise my head. There were two boys in formal-looking school uniforms. Well, you alright? He repeated the question. Yeah, just startled. You're friends with Chiene? Chiene. Oh, you mean Tifa-chan? Oh, you were a friend of hers from college? She didn't tell us anyone was visiting. Oh, I just got into some trouble and she helped me out. There's nothing shady about me, though. I know that's hard. You're ruining it, bro. Come on, Cloud. Riz up. You riz up, alright? It really is, old man. Man, how do I handle this? Anyway, my name's, Cloud Strife. I'm Red 13. This is Red 12. I'm Red 13 and this is Red 12.
Just Mochi is fine.
Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24. Yeah, this is Haru-chan. What are you doing? We don't know him. Apparently, this Haru-chan was the person who looked at me through the gap in the door and screamed. He seems safe. Come out. A moment later, she slammed the door shut after a few more moments of hesitation and opened it up again. Whoa. She looked like a student, too, except her fashion sense was unexpectedly flashy.
Who are you?
Name's Cloud Strife. I crashed my motorbike nearby, and Tifa helped me out.
Wait, are you saying you spent the night in her room?
Yeah, She cut my words short with an ear-piercing shriek.
So that's why it was so noisy. What were you thinking? You're not supposed to enter an unmarried girl's room. It's indecent.
Yeah, I was hesitant too, but Tifa was kind enough to let me in.
Why are you acting like you've known her your whole life? Wait, she's not getting out. Don't tell me you... There's a 500 yen note in the door.
Ear-shattering scream. Don't tell me you... No. She just gave me lots of booze. I'm paying her back for that.
Tifa's body is worth way more than that. How dissolute.
The hell are these kids saying? Hey, can you help me out? Hey, can you help me out? You drank with a girl you just met? She's not coming out. Crap, I had no allies here.
What's going on?
And so the subject of the conversation joined in. Oh, Tifa, can you tell me what happened last night? Something was off about her aura. What happened to the lively girl she'd been yesterday?
Tifa. Tifa, did you? Man, this is embarrassing. Whoa.
Wait, hold on, stop.
I can't be a bride anymore.
Ear-piercing shriek. Man, what a mess. Though Tifa's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. After calming everyone down, Tifa explained what actually happened. How we met in the middle of the night. How she let me stay out of goodwill. How we drank ourselves silly and how nothing happened between us.
Man, it's been so long since I drank that much. Guess I wasn't prepared and puked it all out. Sorry you had to see that, Cloud.
Hey, I don't mind it. That Haru-chan girl still looked at me funny.
Absurd.
Anyway, sorry. I was so tired yesterday that I couldn't refuse her kindness.
Well, this is Chiedi. This is Tifa we're talking about. She does whatever she wants. Yeah, she's got good reasons for being here too, so maybe the elders will understand. Where did you find them anyway? Well...
Next to the river further down. My words make everyone change their expressions.
That's a big deal. 2 people over just 2 days? Sorry, 2 people just over 2 days?
Did I say something bad?
It was gonna get out sooner or later. We made quite a scene, so I wouldn't be surprised if everyone in Yasumizu already knows.
Hey, what do you mean by 2 people in just 2 days?
Don't touch me! You're filthy!
I wasn't trying to touch her, and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I hadn't had a bath in over a day, but still.
Hey, you.
Why is it a big deal?
Teba's gonna eat.
Well, that sounded bad. Can you tell me more?
This is a bit complicated for now, so keep in mind that this is the countryside. Things are different here than in the city.
This guy here was Red 13. This guy here was Red 13. Ignore Tifa and was the easiest person to talk to. What should I do?
Just leave it to me, alright? And it's time the students go eat, isn't it? But I want to see where this best goes. No, you don't. Just go already, we'll catch up. Well, I guess it's best to go separately. There's probably going to be some disagreements. Yeah, I need you to understand, Yasu-kun. Take them for the rest of me, alright? Sure. Stop treating me like a child. Stop treating me like a child. Yeah, I swear I'll pop on you. Let's just get going, you two.
And so the students walked off towards the stairs. It was kind of easy to tell what sort of relationship they had. Anyway. So they live in this building too?
Yep, it's a student dorm, you know.
A student dorm? In this Hicksville? Still, my senses have betrayed me. There actually were other people here.
By the way, you didn't run into anyone else and get in trouble, right?
Yeah, I was careful on that front.
Good, let's get ready to go to the dining hall.
Oh, for breakfast?
No, eat your breakfast now. We'll all go to the dining hall and introduce you.
Huh? To who?
To whoever has a problem with an outsider coming from to an outsider coming from what the fuck did they call it? Asgard? No, what the fuck was it? What was the main city in Final Fantasy VII? Midgard. I was close. Midgard. To whoever has a problem with an outsider coming from Midgard.
Oh, so like that, Teba person?
I'm in your hands then. It's fine. If you're that grateful, keep that happened this morning a secret.
Sure thing. That's... What's Saranaga anyway? That river?
Yep, the river's called Saranaga Rapids, but the area around it is called Saranaga. The place has some cultural significance.
It does?
Yep, they say it's a corrupt place where the dead return from the other side.
Oh, so that's why they reacted like that. Any other rules or customs I should be aware of?
Oh, there's lots, so just leave everything to me, alright?
Gladly, on all fronts. If I may ask, am I in danger?
Nope, but you should try to escape before something unpleasant happens to you.
And you're gonna lay the groundwork for that, huh?
Yep.
The settlement I stayed in was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh? That was depressing. Tifa gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. The girl herself was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drinks in person, though. Then, we made our way to the dining hall. What are those boulders?
They're like charms, I guess. They've been here forever.
I've never seen anything like them anywhere.
Oh yeah, guess they're kind of unique to this area.
She led me along a narrow path that I followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used to be this one. It was very farmy, I guess.
Yep. Have a good day, Bob.
This area was also littered with those boulders. Some were cracked, broken, or half buried in the fields. They were clearly religious symbols, but it didn't look like they were that important these days, or were they? Now that I knew I was safe, I once again became curious about this place. Oh, there's a person. She was working in the field.
That's Takumi Ni-chan. Morning.
Kemi waved her hands around. The man responded, but then froze mid-wave.
Let's go.
Are you sure we should? Guy looked pretty surprised to see me.
Don't worry. He'll be at the dining hall soon. We'll explain things then.
Well, if she said so. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This was the part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. I didn't notice it back then, but it was actually kind of weird. Basically, it felt desolate. The wooden bungalows in particular were more or less overgrown, buried in tall grass and other greenery. If this was all I saw of the village, and someone told me it was abandoned, I'd have easily believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. There was a hall right beyond the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but I could tell there were people inside. From what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse for a community. Suddenly, the three students walked out, chattering about something.
D Chad and Fusari Chad. Sorry, Tifa and Cloud. Good morning again. Aren't you late? We took forever because Mochi doesn't stop saying nonsense. Yes, I am evil. Give me miso soup. Oh, you'll make it if you hurry. Behave in class, you guys.
Half dashing, the three ran up the path we came from. They're all in high school, huh?
Yep, there's a bunch of school all the way up the mountain. I was going there myself 3 years ago.
Sounds like a hassle.
It's not all bad. At least we get to live in that dorm.
Tifa was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
Alright, let's get psyched.
Yeah. I'm not convinced. We laughed and looked past a little at the curtain.
Welcome. Oh.
The inside was as aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
Is he a visitor, Tifa-chan?
The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was definitely beautiful. Okay, I think we're like, since now we're like an hour and 17 into it, I'm going to stop forgetting to use I'm just going to say whatever names that the remake here has told them to use instead of what their proper names are. You know, we're just going to let whoever translated this Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, just, whatever names they decided to give the actual main characters, we'll just go with that, all right? So, for my own mental sanity. There were two others beside her. One was a lady in her 70s or 80s. She was probably the one I saw this morning. The silhouette matched. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger than her, probably in his late 60s. Though they were just sitting there was a menacing aura about them.
I'll introduce him. This is Haruki Fushashi. I found him at Saranaga last night and took him into my care.
Their reactions were powerful. The lady gasped, but the two elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension was already there the moment I walked and reached its peak.
I know you're concerned, but this is just a coincidence. Unlike that little girl, he knows exactly where he came from. He went on an old path with his bike and crashed. It's actually really sad. That's why I think we should help him leave. What do you think?
After saying all that, Kemi fell silent. The ball was in their court now.
Now that is troubling.
The lady voiced a harmless opinion, careful not to upset the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. They were elders in more ways than one.
Chi-chan, why did you even go to Saranaga at night? I had a hunch, I guess. You know what happened? I couldn't fall asleep. Then he's got to be a Yumbito.
Shut it, Taba. From that conversation, it was pretty clear that something had happened before I arrived here. It was obviously similar to what happened with me. She'd mentioned some little girl. Perhaps there was a child who'd wandered in here like I did. According to Kemi, The Saranaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which dead people came to life, or whatever. Oh, so this Tay must have been the E lady that boy mentioned. And the Umbito must have been the term that the dead who come from there. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing these elders to approve helping me. Where are you from? The old man's put my derailed mind back on track. I'm from Tokyo. How old are you? 24. Older than Chi, eh? He chuckled. I immediately realized he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl. Nice to meet you. I'm Haruki Fusashi. Like she said, I wandered into town after my bike crashed. I seem to be a total outsider here, so I don't want to speak out of turn. That's why I asked her to talk on my behalf, but I think I should say something at least. I won't trouble you any longer than I have to, so I would be grateful if you would pardon my brief stay. And please don't blame her for helping me. Hey, Haruki-san. I think she went against the village's customs by helping me out. The students also seemed surprised. My. I'm an adult. I will only take responsibility for any trouble I cause, as best I can. So, please put up with me. I bowed my head.
He seems alright to me, Taba.
Don't know about that. Look at his hair, all colored brown. Shit, I forgot. I didn't look very presentable to more traditionalist people. Outsiders all like that. Just help me get out of here.
Outsiders all like that. Just help him get out of here, I says.
Oh no, I guess the blank one is him? Or who's the... Or is the dot supposed to be... No, dot has to be him, right?
Do what you want.
I guess I got their half-hearted approval. Haru, eh? Like my granddaughter. What a mess. Oh, so that means you're...
Yep, he's Haru-chan's grandpa. Kanzo Mikishima.
A pleasure. I didn't know what else to say. Haru-chan and I weren't on the best of terms so far. Anyway, it seems like we were past the difficult part. Drove into Saranaga, huh? No, actually, I asked for directions from a convenience store, went down a side road, and ended up losing control in an unpaved section. And then you went in Saranaga. Why didn't you turn around? He wasn't impressed by my choice of actions. It just hit me that I had no idea how much time passed between the crash and my meeting with Kemi. Takumi and I'll go and see it.
Takumi's walking in the fields.
It's to get him out and leave. Let the boy help.
You'll never change, Kanchan.
What's going on here? We were joined by a new inhabitant. Kemi, who's that guy?
Oh, Takumi-ni-chan.
Oh, so he was the one we saw in the field. Wow, he sure looked big from up close. All that field work was good for his muscles, clearly. And from what I could tell, he was in his 30s. As Kemi introduced me and told him of my situation, I found out his name, Takumi Muro. Okay, if I was keeping up that this is the Final Fantasy VII remake bit, I guess if she's Tifa, then this would be Barrett. And instead of just like the first person I just said was Barrett. So you know what? This fits. All right. Facade back on. Man, that must have been hard. So old man Kanzo. Well, pick it up. Thought so. Deba-chan, wait a bit while I help the guy. I already spread the stuff on the field, so I'll mow the grass at noon.
What a good boy.
It ain't been a big deal. I'll be quick so you'll think nothing happened.
Good to hear.
Nothing, eh?
Boy.
Me? What is it?
You're in Yasumizu. It ain't a good place.
It was a place that wasn't good? Not my presence here?
We don't like outsiders here, and outsiders shouldn't let sleeping dogs lie. So you should hurry on and leave.
That's the plan. So it's settled.
Yep, thanks Takumi-ni-chan.
I was beginning to understand how things worked here. Although Kanzo Mikishima's voice was the most powerful here, it was also important to get Tei-chan's approval. Kanzo-san was probably in charge of tackling the settlement's practical problems, while Tei-chan provided spiritual and moral direction. And when it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tei-san, acting as an intermediary. It looked like Takumi-san himself had understood such subtleties, and Kemi seemed to rely on this side of him.
Here you go.
The lady brought some tea at the old folk, perfect timing. Oh, Kari-san, thank you for getting some food. So that was her name.
Sure, I'll make a lot. It will be a reward for waking up early and working hard.
Hey, I'm doing it for Yasumizu, Ba-chan, and you. It's nothing, really.
Oh my.
These two sure seem to get along. They looked about the same age, too.
Would you like something to eat too?
No, thank you. I already ate.
Then here's some tea. I can also get you a light snack if you'd like. What would you say to some onigiri?
Oh, that would be...
Sorry, can we borrow the phone? We need it quick. Oh. Sure, why not have some tea first? Thanks, but it's urgent. Let's go, Haruki-san.
Sure? It didn't look like I could say no. We went up the nearby stairs for what seemed like a living space. At the end of the creaky hallway, there was a black rotary phone, a rarity in this day and age.
This is the only phone in all of Yasumizu, by the way.
Seriously?
Oh, and not a single mobile service provider works in this area. We need to keep this closed room mystery closed. We can't just have it open by every little idiot with their cell phone.
Really? Wait, who do you want me to call anyway?
Road service insurance, stuff like that, and family if you have to.
Oh, that made sense. Hell, I should have been the one to say that.
Like I said, it'd be best if you left as soon as possible, so you should use everything you have. Because outsiders aren't welcome here? Yep.
And I shouldn't pry any further, huh?
Mm-hmm. Haruki-san, I see you catch on quickly. That's good.
But you also seem really
curious.
It shows, huh?
Of course it does. Honestly, though you should avoid sticking your nose into things.
Because we'll part ways soon anyway?
Exactly.
That's kind of sad.
Oh, you want my contact info?
If you're willing to give.
Yay, that makes this guy number 53 on the list.
Damn, if that ain't a letdown. We still went to exchange our info. I can only hope that being number 53 wasn't a big problem as it sounded. Anyway, I'd like to know the reason why me being here is such a big deal.
I don't recommend it.
But why?
Because it'd make me upset.
You don't like it here?
Yeah, I actually hate it.
You seem to get along with the people, though.
That's just how it looks. I was a huge problem child, so I feel kind of awkward around the older folk here. And there's tons of things you can't see right away. Oh, but I can't say I actually hate the people.
With that, I decided to stop prying about this place any further. I'd back away before she came to hate me. Oh, can I ask one thing, though?
Oh, gutsy. Go ahead.
Do you like that Takumi Muro guy?
What? Me? Like him?
Yeah.
No way. Takumi-chan's cool and all, but he's too rugged and over a decade older than me. He's out of my strike zone.
And
he's always only had eyes for Kaori-san.
It sure felt like it. They married or something?
Nope. Kaori-san's a widow.
Well, that seemed complicated. That aside, Kemi had been acting a bit strange. Why had she dragged me away from the tea? It seemed so awkward, too. Assuming she hadn't been jealous of Kaori-san and simply didn't want her to charm me, it would mean that she just hadn't wanted me to drink the tea. Why? Also, why she'd feed me a cup of ramen if I could just have gotten food at the dining hall. Looking too deep into things was part of my nature, though things were never as bad as I assumed. I went on to call my insurance company, where I found out something. Apparently, this village was hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest service station, meaning I was ineligible for the normal service and had to pay extra. And the extra was no small amount, too. It actually went over 100,000 yen. Also, I could have avoided this if I had taken a more expensive plan. This was all my own fault for not taking the bike salesman's advice. Shit. I said I would see. He said he looked too deep into it, but it usually worked out pretty well. In other words, he just had to follow that pig, and the pig would have led him to safety. He thought it was trying to harm him. In fact, it's trying to help him. I said I would consider it and hung up. Then I went back to the dining hall. Huh. Where did everyone go? The customers had changed completely. Tei-san, Kanzo-san, and Takumi-san were gone now. They all were replaced by a caricature of a juvenile delinquent. The fuck are you? He shouted at me. He seemed like he was trying too hard. Then slammed his bowl and chopsticks on the table and stood up to intimidate me. I'm Cloud Strife. The hell? You wanna go? Goodness. Yo shit. You shit, Sugu. Goodness, you shit.
Don't talk like that to someone you just met.
Shut up, hag, Chine. The hell's this asshole?
Haruki-san, a traveler who crashed his bike.
Boy, was that an introduction half-assed.
Let me introduce them to you. This is Kaori Oribi and her second son, Yoshiguro-kun. Yasunaga-kun's the first.
Huh? Yasunaga-kun, the guy you introduced me to this morning?
Yep, they may not look like it at first, but they're alike, don't you think?
The Oribes. What an unpredictable family.
Stop talking about bro, you ugly bitch.
Call me that all you want. I'm confident in my popularity.
And from what I've seen, that confidence is well justified.
Fuck off, back to the city, you idiot. Stupid dumbass.
Oh no, Haruki-san. I don't think I can argue with that.
What? You were an idiot? Alrighty then, stupid. You're stupid.
Oh, how mean.
Join me, yes, you shit cun. Stupid.
Huh? What the hell? Don't talk shit about Chine. You're pretty conflicted, aren't you? You're pretty conflicted, aren't you?
Sorry, Kemi-chan. I was just playing.
Wow, one nice reversal after another. It takes quite a man to surprise me.
I just don't want to lose you, that's all.
You dating or something?
Boy, did I wish.
Stop it, you shit. You're already late. Change and go to school.
Shut up, I ain't going.
Mumbling something, the kid walked out of the dining hall, leaving his half-full bowl behind.
Sorry about that. How embarrassing. He's already a good boy deep down, though.
Yeah, I could actually see that. Somewhat. By the way, we're Makishima-chan and Mura-san.
They went to pick up your bike.
Oh no, I gotta hurry after him.
Hey, they know where it is. They'll be fine, don't you think?
Well, you just have to see it on neutral. You just have to set it on neutral and push. I'm not sure they'll know how to do it. And I, of all people, should help. They might go about the wrong way.
If that's all, then you shouldn't bother.
Why?
Because you're an outsider. I wouldn't suggest spending too much time alone with them.
They didn't seem that bad to me.
That's because they're adults. Don't assume everyone here is as welcoming as me. I'm an exception. You might get along fine, but you might also set them off. This place is already far from normal. Don't risk making it worse. She is right, I say. They insisted you leave it to them, so that's what you should do.
You think so too?
Yes, the men here are pretty serious about Yasumitsu having its own way of doing things.
I could somewhat understand that. A visitor should behave like one. Doing anything more would be uncalled for. It was an old-fashioned way of thinking. But this was an old-fashioned kind of place, for sure. Where do we wait, then?
At my place.
I expected as much, but it still made me curious. Normally you'd expect we'd sit down and drink some tea right away. So why didn't we? As we waited, Kemi, casually but uncomfortably, told me several things. First, I found out the people here in Yasumizu were a bit on edge right now. The reasons for that was the fact that, excluding me, they had 3 whole outsiders here. I assumed this myself from what I knew so far, but apparently yesterday morning, a little girl was found straying around the Saranaga Rapids. They couldn't even find out her name, let alone her parents were, so they didn't know how to handle her. For now, one of the inhabitants was looking after her. Like I'd been told, the more superstitious inhabitants, Tae-san mostly, saw her as a bad omen. I suggested leaving her to the police, but Kemi didn't seem to think it was a good idea. It barely made sense to me, but if I were to believe her, things around here were such that not even the cops could do anything. And apparently, the remaining 2 outsiders were a pair of journalists gathering info for a magazine article. Unlike the little girl and I, they'd come here via the normal route, through Kamifuyu Jiyoshi, and they weren't considered a bad omen or whatever. Still, even normal outsiders put the people here on edge. Through this talk, I also got some details about the area itself. Yasumizu was a settlement part of an autonomous region called Fujiyoshi Village, or simply Fujiyoshi. It's also been on the map I'd been shown at the store. Mountain Road. Okay, so that's the mountain road he was going over and he fell into. Okay. Fujiyoshi was split into two areas, Yasumizu and Kamifujiyoshi. They were separated by a mountain. Going to Kamifujiyoshi took about an hour on foot, or 20 minutes by car on the winding but paved road. Side note, the school the students went on was in Kamifujiyoshi. The two settlements had ties so strong they shared customs and culture. Kemi said the local seasonal event were quite unconventional. I asked her to elaborate, but all she would say is that Yasumizu had special meaning to Fujiyoshi. She was making me more suspicious than I ever wanted to be. This conversation wasn't nearly as exciting as the one we had last night. At least I found out she didn't have a boyfriend right now. Very intriguing. It was nearly noon when Takumi-san came back, ending my waiting game. Side note, the door was fully open the entire time we waited. It was probably Kemi's way of saying that nothing bad was happening here. Man, bike's sure heavy, eh? Ain't as heavy as the boar I caught last year. I didn't really expect them to just carry it here. Like, sure, there were two of them, but just how much mass did you have to have to haul 200 kilogram piece of metal so easily? The unpaved roads and the river made my sweet ride really damn muddy. How'd you bring it up the cliff? There was a pulley. We bring stuff up from the bottom every now and then. Takumi. Oh yeah, now's not the time for that. Hey, you think this thing's alright? It looks pretty damn wet. I'm not sure. I'll check. I'll leave the rest to you then, old man. This took longer than I thought it would. It's fine if I do the sharpening tomorrow. I saw them off with a loud thank you. Now then, need help? I'll see if I can do it myself first. The worst part of the repairs was right at the beginning. I wanted to start by washing it, but that old lady, Tai Yakamami was her full name, got really mad at me. She didn't want any Saranaga mud on the ground here because it was corrupt or something. But this plaza was the only place with easy access to water supply tap, so I did my best and convinced her to let me wash it as close to the edge as possible. Once it was clean, I could start checking what was wrong with it. It actually looked pretty good. Bent in places, sure, but the wash got rid of the bad sound the wheels made. The only problem was that both tires were flat, and it was a pretty big one. You didn't bring tools? Nope. Aren't you supposed to wherever you go on bike trip? I just thought I could call road service and they'd do all the work. So unprepared. I have no excuse, honestly. I was having a moment when I thought I went out, didn't think things through. Oh, can I ask what happened? My girlfriend left me. That seems like a lie. It wasn't. In any case, somewhere to get tools to fix a flat tire. There might be some in the Not-So Mansion. Not-So Mansion? Yep, it's the biggest place in Yasumizu. If you can't find something there, you won't find it anywhere else in the village. I see. Well, let's give it a shot. I don't really recommend meeting the guy, but I can't think of any other ideas. Someone important again? Yep, and he's kind of messed up to boot. Not so macho. +2. And so, we walked up the hill and arrived at the so-called Not-So Mansion. From what I could tell, it was located at the highest point in the settlement. And like Kemi said, it was definitely a hell of a building. It had an elegant Western design, which would probably look even better if the place were better maintained. The yard was overgrown, and the building itself was pretty much buried in ivy and small trees. If someone told me it was cursed, I'd instantly believe them. Did people actually live here? I wonder if the intercom works. She pressed the button next to the aged iron gate. Yasumizu was a quiet place, so I could easily hear the bell ring inside. Should we try again? Let's not. We'll piss them off. Moody guy, huh? Moody? Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I wasn't sure what that meant, but I opted just to wait rather than ask more questions. Soon enough, the person in question walked out of the mansion. What is it? Who are you? He wasn't young, but he didn't look middle-aged either. He certainly looked high-strung, that much was sure. Hello, Natsu-san. It's Sarazawa. I know you, Kemi Sarazawa. I'm asking the young... Tifa Lockhart. I'm asking the young man with you. It's Cloud-san. This is, Kiyonosuke?
Yeah, Kiyonosuke? Yeah, okay. Natsuo-san, Kiyonosuke-san, and this is a giant blast of names and letters. He got in an accident.
That introduction was the briefest one yet. What? I explained the situation again. He furrowed his brow when I mentioned the Serenaga in addition to the reasons we were here. So I need a repair tool so I can get out of here as soon as possible.
Are these tires tubeless?
Huh?
I have patches, but I think fixing tubeless tires would be a bit too much for an amateur, though. There's no problem if you want.
But if the
tubes burst, I'll have no choice but to change it, and I don't have any spares here, obviously, and I wouldn't give them if I did.
Sorry, but I'm not too knowledgeable about that.
What a waste of time. I recommend spending however many thousands you need to have a repairman come and pick you up.
I had no retort to that.
Oh, but Natsuo-san, I don't think we can have any more outsiders come here right now. Haven't you been to a proper city? Don't tell me you still believe that nonsense. I'd be fine with it, but I doubt the elders would be. We've had too many visitors these past few days. I don't care what you Yasumizu peasants think. What do you expect me to do anyway? Fix these tires myself and get oil all over me? No, I never suggest that. I just think that a Fujiyoshi village head should help a troubled visitor. How about, instead of relying on me only when it's convenient, you just give him a traditional Yasumizu welcome. You know, throw him off the cliff.
Oh, what the hell?
Come on, you can't say that.
Kimmy's tone was slightly off. I could feel a bit irritation behind the words. I know it might be a bother, but can you at least lend me the tools?
What?
I'll just borrow them. You won't hear or see me work. I can even pay.
Well, I don't mind that much, but I want compensation for anything you bring. Student or not, I'll have you act proper.
Then he pointed me to the garage and walked back to the mansion. Man, I thought he was screwed there. What the hell's a burst tube?
Wow, that's so lame.
What, do you think every biker can fix a bike just by bashing it with a wrench or something? I mean, it works for the engineer.
I don't know, but aren't there a lot of girls who are into the guys good with cars and stuff?
So, you're into Natsuoshi?
Nope, he's just acting like he's smart. He's probably never repaired a thing in his life. The guy's not even nearly as experienced as he'd have you think.
Huh. Then why does he have bike repair stuff?
The Natsuo mansion is basically the Yasumizu branch of the Natsuo family. Their main mansion in Kamifujiyoshi, wherever they don't need here, they send over there. Whatever they don't need there, they send over here. I heard Kiyonosuke-san was given a car 5 or 6 years ago, but he couldn't drive it at all, so it's been gathering dust ever since.
Damn, that was the countryside for you. Couldn't hide your shame if your life depended on it. Anyway, I now knew that the mail was a condescending, protective type. Still helped me out, though, and it was true I didn't know much about bike repairs, so I couldn't really get mad. Anyway, let's take everything that looks like it could be useful.
Like bandits, huh? I'm in. Sure, I'm not bothering you.
I feel down without anyone to talk to. Just keep chatting with me. It helps. The instructions that came with the repair kit told me that my bike's tires were a rather difficult type to repair. Apparently, I had to remove the tires, but where did I even start with that? Well, as long as I didn't break it, nothing could be worse than having to call road service down here. So I just tried taking it apart. But as I removed whatever nuts I could, I made the situation even worse than it was. Yeah, this really wasn't a job for an amateur.
You seem to be having a rough time. You can eat this too, Kemi-chan. Wow, thank you.
Well, this looks serious. Man, machines are just no good.
Hey, the benefits of culture are great as long as they don't break.
Munch, munch.
Think he can fix it for Shodan? For sundown? That might be hard. Don't worry though. Worst comes worst, I'll do something.
Munch, munch. I really appreciated how she handled the visitors in my stead.
Hey, Cheney, is it hard to get a bike license?
I don't know. I know that scooter licenses are easy. I have one myself.
This-sized bike licenses are pretty hard to get. You even need to take a course, just like with cars. You like bikes?
The hell? What's the matter with you? How much was that anyway?
800,000 yen, brand new.
Holy shit, what the hell? That's way too high. You an idiot or what? How'd you get that much?
Huh, part-time jobs and all that.
You got into an accident. Poor Haruki-san.
Kemi-sensei, if I may ask, what happened to my share of the food?
Oh, no, I ate it all. Poor Haruki-san.
I didn't want sympathy from one of the I didn't want sympathy from the one responsible. As I told her off for not leaving me any food, I somehow removed the tires. I could only hope I'd be able to fix this up. So, did she eat all the food because she's still trying to prevent him from eating food here? Like, is the food an actual, like, a plot point? Where she's like, no, I don't want you eating any, like, what's the, isn't there a, isn't it one of the Greek myths, like, he invited Persephone, Hades invited Persephone in the hell, and then he gave her some food, and because she ate the food, she was stuck there now. So maybe it's something like that. She's like, no, don't eat the food. You don't, or maybe she doesn't want, maybe if they serve me food, it'll be part of like hospitality. So I'm under her care because I ate her food. Or maybe it's or maybe it's just, I don't know, some other thing. Or maybe it's nothing. But I'm pretty sure that's it. Persephone ate oh, that's right. She ate a fig seed or something like that. A pomegranate seed. There you go. She accidentally ate a pomegranate seed, and Hades is like, "Ah, bitch, you ate food from hell. Now you're here forever. Sucks to suck." And then she only has like 1 day a year where she's allowed out. I'm pretty sure that's the myth. I had this thing for less than a month, but the trouble it was putting me through made me feel somewhat dear to me. I wanted to fire it up again and make it go as fast as it possibly could. Suddenly, I heard an engine. It felt like it was mocking me. Hold on. An engine? Here? I stopped working and turned around to see an unfamiliar van drive into the plaza. Barring the classic-looking piece of junk in Natsuo's garage, this was the first time I'd seen a car here. As far as I knew, no one living here actually owned a running car. So,
these are the journalists I told you about.
I knew it. Once the van stopped, a lady stepped out of it.
Hello.
Oh, she's pretty. Hello.
I'll be bothering you again today. You're a new face.
Hello. My name's Haruki. My name's Haruki Bike Crash.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Crap, that was no time for an inside joke. I quickly introduced myself properly. I crashed not too far away and I'm stuck here for the time being.
I see. So you're a student? Sorry about the trouble you're going through. Oh, and this is me.
The woman gave me her business card. Aerith. A freelance writer. Her pen name was Hisako Mamiya. A freelance writer. Her pen name was Kyoko Hyusei.
Have you ever read Kyoko Hyusei's articles?
Sorry.
Figured. I'm not a big name yet. And the articles I do get printed are marketed for housewives and the elderly.
That's some pretty intense competition. What do you write anyway?
Food reviews.
Food review.
I specialize in unusual dishes.
Like the foulest smelling canned food in the world or something?
Yep. I have my own channel where I eat MREs. Back from militaries from like 40, 50, 60 years ago. Yep, your usual brand of weirdness doesn't attract much attention these days, so I'm looking for minor culinary oddities local to Japan. Anyway, if you want to know weird dishes from your hometown, do tell me. I'd travel the length of Japan to give it a try.
A student from the lab I frequented once made a pork miso soup with a mushroom we found on campus. We had mass hallucinations and...
No flashes of brilliance or poisons, please.
As we chatted, I became curious. By the way, weren't there two of you?
Yes, I'm here with a partner. He just needs some time to... Oh, there he is.
I looked at the van and became completely awestruck. It felt like the van had shed its skin or something. That made no sense. But seriously, how did this fit in there? He's just making fun of... how did this fit in there? He was gargantuan. Takumi-san was something, but this man was on the level of a foreign heavyweight wrestler. Though unlike Takumi-san, this man was primarily fat more than muscle, and he walked out of the driver's seat. The van shook wildly.
Yudai Hashimoto-san, a photographer. He's way more famous than me. He works in all sorts of fields. I imagine you've seen some of his photos without even knowing it.
I didn't know much about photography, but I was definitely convinced. There was a certain kind of authority, or gravity around him. He wasn't saying a word, and I couldn't tell what he was thinking. Nice to meet you. I'm Cloud Strife. Was he even alive?
Hello.
After a strange pause, he suddenly bowed like the moving mountain he was, and greeted me with a voice like a titan. He seemed somewhat difficult to interact with.
Is this your last day here, isn't it? Yes, Orbe-san said she'd let me try her prize, Shishinare. I don't know if an outsider can handle it. I have my stomach medicine. I'm sure I'll be fine.
And so, Miyamiya and Hashimoto walked off to the dining hall. Who would have thought that such a beauty was a delicacy hunter? I had to admit, that Gap was kind of charming. I was hoping the one dude would speak more, because I was going to,
Hey, it's me, speaking with my voice.
do like a Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't say shit, so I guess we'll just stick with something else later on. As intrigued as I was, I couldn't waste any more time. I had to fix my bike already. Whoa. A lot of things have surprised me here in Yasumizu, but nothing as much as this. Hello? No reaction. At first glance, he looked like a poor man, too senile to think and perceive properly. You need something from me? I made sure to speak as clearly as possible. It didn't look like he understood. I figured I was best just to ignore him and resume repairs, but... Coming! I looked at him again. He was still just standing there, like his soul and brain had left his body. A vacant stare, yellowed eyes, and half-open mouth covered in saliva. Coming! He spoke again. What's coming? Reunion. The what? What? His voice was too hoarse to make out. Come again? I placed my hand against my ear. He finally understood what I wanted and prepared to whisper something. He brought my ear closer and... The wolf is coming! The sudden shout caught me completely off guard and made me fall to the ground. He looked down at me laughing. He clapped and opened his half-toothless mouth in a wide smile. The wolf is coming! The wolf is coming! He bent his body in a weird way, laughed like he was convulsing, turned around, and just left.
Haruki-san. Oh, I'm too late. Kimi-san had joined the journalists and only just come back.
Late for what?
Gramps over there loves messing around with strangers like that.
Wait, that's your grandpa?
No. I don't even know his name. He's been in Yasumizu forever, and he's always like that. It felt like less he was just messing around, and more like he was a bit touched. Yep, everyone calls him the old man who cried wolf.
Named after the boy who cried wolf, I assume. Doesn't work as well, though. Wolves, eh? As far as I knew, there were no wild wolves in Japan. There used to be, but after the last sighting in either the Meiji or the Showa era, they'd been considered extinct here. Modern Japan's image of wolves came from Western fairy tales and the like. It wasn't linked to anything in our culture or life. Even the boy who cried wolf was a Western tale. Did his brand of insanity make him repeat the tale or something? A bit weirded by the circumstances, I went back to repairing my bike. Just been sitting on that cackle this entire time. Don't worry, I have more. Oh yeah, true. He didn't say something like, "Oh, if you guys are leaving, do you have room for me to like put the motorcycle on top or, put it in the back of your van and go?" After a bit more, or maybe they're gonna explain it away because the one guy is so big and they have like other equipment. Maybe it's too heavy for the car or for the van or something like that. I don't know. After a bit more time, I somehow took off the rubber from the tires and removed the tubes. Both tires were pierced by some really rusty nails. Fuck, this kind of shit only happened in the worst of times. Then I applied the patches and filled them with air using a manual pump. I wet the tubes, but there were no bubbles, meaning no air was leaving them. Things were looking good.
Aww.
After the high schoolers came back from the school and passed by, no one else stopped to talk. Kemi was looking a bit bored now. I think I got it.
Seriously? But it all seems so hopeless.
Well, sorry. No, I still need to rebuild this. That's gonna be a lot of work.
So you'll be able to leave then?
Yep. Believe me, I know I shouldn't stay here long. I can take a hint.
That's great.
She didn't seem to care that much. Guess I had no chance with her, huh?
You've been at this for hours. How are you holding up? Need a break?
Well, I'd be better if a certain someone didn't take away my lunch break.
Hey, I gave you some crackers, didn't I?
Like that was enough to sate a guy in his mid-20s. Still, I'm pretty fine. I'll push forward a bit more. You can go if you want. I've been introduced to just about everyone here.
There's 2 people you haven't met yet.
Really? Well, there's nowhere we need to, right?
I'll stay around a bit longer. I came back here because I was bored, and it's not ready yet.
Couldn't you play around with your 52 guy friends?
I take it back. I came back because I wanted to be bored. Living in this city is so annoying and tiring, especially with 52 guys texting you all the time.
Oh.
Sorry, I lied about the 52 guys.
Why?
Because I wanted to keep you in check, I guess.
Why would she pull a tactic like that only to reveal her hand?
Hey, did you really get dumped by your girlfriend?
And now she asked me that. No, I did, honest.
I see.
Well, after that relentless assault, I wouldn't be fair unless I played my own card. Want to come with me?
Huh? It's a 2-seater?
Yeah, there's even an extra helmet. It's not dry yet, though. I'm obviously leaving soon, so unless you've got something planned, you can join me.
Well,
We can even go on a bike tour if we had enough time. I can take you anywhere. Flexible, open to fine-tuning, wild and charming. This was a good date invitation, if I said so myself.
that sounds great, and I have no plans.
Oh.
I'll go get my stuff then.
Kemi smiled and turned around and headed to the place. She then looked back at me and...
You should hurry before I change my mind.
Yeah, sure. That made me motivated. This was one trip, but at least I met someone good along. This is one tiring trip, but at least I met someone good along the way. I just forget everything I didn't want to remember while on the road with her. I could only hope that clever girl and I would eventually grow closer. With that ulterior motive in mind, I resumed rebuilding the bike. Alright, I'm going to take this as a small break. I'm going to drink some water, rest my mouth for a second, and then I'll come back for the last hour. So, just taking a small little second here. Let's see. Hopefully it doesn't get a copyright struck. But... Okay, just need a short break. I gotta remember to drink more during the
while I'm reading, so my voice doesn't get all dry.
What do you mean super loud? Everything should be normal? Is it loud on your end? Because everything is still... None of my settings changed, and I even had the YouTube video down to like less than half of its volume, because I know YouTube usually is kind of loud. So I didn't have anything like changed or anything like that. Maybe something's messing with the setting? No idea. Anyway. Oh, I know. Maybe because I had it
On the BRB screen, the BRB has...
I found the issue. The BRB screen has the BRB screen needs to have the volume adjusted. Is it better now? No, that's still super high. Here you go. This should be a bit better. This should sound about normal now. Okay. That was what was going on. Yeah, I haven't used this BRB one in fucking forever. I haven't, yeah, there's two of them running and everything. There we go. Yeah, so I haven't adjusted the things on this B&B one at all. That's why. Did I? No, we're working. Oh, I muted. Okay, so in the BRB screen, I muted my microphone, and it muted my shit across all of my scenes. That's why. All right. Anyway, or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? Sorry about that, man. Well, that okay. So what I've learned is never touch anything when I go take a break. Just never use the BRB screen. I walked down the hill to where the song came from, passing the tall grass. I arrived. Scardians are. It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass, with the countless rocks peeking out of it. Unlike the boulders all over Yasumizu, they were only up to my waist. Looked like gravestones. 6, the bad jar hums along great with a ray of bricks. The field extended into the dusky western sky before ending at a cliff. This was the lowest spot. This was the lowest spot in Yasumizu, the border to Saranada. Wait, was that? Shit. I thought that was the little girl singing, and that wasn't him describing stuff? Fuck. Anyway, there's a large pine right at the edge. No, that was the singer. Okay. 8, the donut, bologna, rice snows on the mountain. The evening sun, the stones, and the pine shadows gave the... Oh, wait. God damn it. Okay. It keeps going in between her singing and his fucking narration. The evening sun, the stones, and the pine shadow gave the field a strange aura. A little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, the space was alien. It felt I was looking at Giorgio de Chirico painting. The place felt like it didn't belong to this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was a sacred, mystical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell. Are you okay? I ran so far away. What? Why? I ran. Yeah, okay. I ran. Oh, it's like instead of quotes, it was arrows. What? I ran with no hesitation. The little girl. What? Well, why are these here? I run with no hesitation. The little girl. Like, so this feels like this is separated for a reason. It's not I ran with no hesitation to the little girl. Or with no hesitation, I ran to the little girl. I run to with no hesitation. The little girl. Help. Help up. Half-crying little girl, muddy clothes. New graze on Band-Aid covered kneecap? Wait. Why is... So there was a... It's pointing at... Like, these are like adjectives, and they're pointing at the person. Help up. New graze on Band-Aid... Like, these are all pointing at the little girl. These are all the adjectives describing her. Huh. Console, little girl, push away, run. Someone appears. Girl saw once me. So the girl he once saw appears. I didn't hit a setting, did I? No. Oh, okay. Nope. That's all intended. Okay. Prepare for the feast when the evening mist arrives. Girl, weave, incomprehensible phrase. Hide behind. Little girl. Little girl hides behind her, fear and hostility eyes. So, girl, weave. So she's got fake hair. Incomprehensible phrase. The little girl is hiding behind her. Run. Girl, hug, little girl. Warn me. You probably won't make it. But run. Me, girl, behind. So, you're behind the girl. No, you and the girl are behind something. Me, girl behind, mist. Me, girl behind, mist. So there's tons of mist, and they're both behind it. Mist. Me. Turn around. Run. Where? In a daze, I came back to the plaza. Suddenly, Kemi shook me, bringing me back to my senses. Where were you? Sorry, I'll finish the job now. It's too late, you idiot. You won't make it in time. You've got to hide. I couldn't understand what she was getting at. What are you doing? Go to your room right now. But Haruki-san's... Forget the outsider, old man Kanzu, and I'll check the other places. Stop wasting time and go back to yours. I couldn't understand. What were these two doing? What scared them so much? It didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down the hill. From Saranaga beyond the field that just came from the rising haze. It was so dense you could easily call it mist. It moved strangely like a living creature as it flowed into the plaza. Haruki-san, over here! Kemi pulled me by the hand. What's going on? My head feels like it weighs a ton. Deal with it. You've got to find a place you can lock the doors. You'll die if you don't. What do you mean? Tell me. Please don't ask questions. Just do as I say, just this once. Albeit hesitantly, I did as she said. went up the hill and crossed the rice field path until we made it into a simple outhouse. This should be fine. Seriously, what's going on? And sure, that's a hell of a miss, but this won't protect me, right?
Listen, there's no time to explain. So please, just do what I say and only that. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound.
My mind was pretty clear by this point. So much that I began to wonder why it was clouded until now. Because of that, I could easily understand exactly what Kemi was just said, despite how weird it was. True, with the mist ability or white smoke in the way, intimidate will lower our attack. Yep, all of our stats can now not be touched. Hell yeah. Or even worse, oh, I know, Agatha and her Golbats are coming. So she's just going to keep spamming haze, even though it doesn't actually have a status issue and doesn't do anything. Looks pretty neat, though. Okay. Okay, so a 20 is a key that we needed in another conversation, too. The one where she was talking to us. Hide in the outhouse. Now that's a hell of an order.
Haruki-san.
Just so you know, pulling that off is pretty hard when I do like a good reward and explanation.
Sure, I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night.
The words, the teary smile, none of it looked fake. See you then. You gotta hurry, right?
Yep, Haruki-san.
What?
I'll tell you tomorrow.
Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment, Kimmy ran off. The plaza was covered in the mist by now. I could see it rising to take over the fields, too. Anyway, a promise was a promise. 10 minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night here? This outhouse wasn't like a prefab you'd find in the construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. It merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style, so I couldn't even sit down. All I could do was stand. Another problem. It was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was really bad. Sure, there was a cover on the toilet unit, but without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia could only do so much. The only good thing about being here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, mission complete. But what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question really made me realize how stupid this was, and I began making assumptions how to make it easier for myself. Was I being pranked? Or was everyone here just crazy? Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way that that shabby outhouse protected me from it. The air here already felt misty and damp. The temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat. But staying here all night would make me all wet. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing around with these hicks. However, get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound.
Sure, I'll tell you everything. So please, survive the night.
My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I made to her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I found out today. This was the Yasumitsu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was situated right next to the Saranaga Rapids. The people living here were Kemi Sarazawa, Tifa Lockhart, Red 13, his family, Kaori Oribe and Yushit Oribe, Chikamochi Kamashita, Haru Makishima, her granddad Kanzo Makishima, Tai Yamakawa, Takumi Muro, Kinosuke Natsuo. It seemed he was from the Kamafujiyoshi, a place the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf. Those were the 11 people that I'd met, and Kemi said I had 2 more left. That could only mean that the 2 I'd met by the pine were the ones. A little girl, she was probably the child that strayed into Saranaga yesterday morning. And then there was a fantastical-looking white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She was probably the one I'd seen in the morning. The fact that I'd seen her twice made it likely that she was indeed real. But with how mysterious this place was, I couldn't rule out the possibility that she was an illusion. According to Kemi, the little girl was being looked at by someone in the village, so I could only assume that the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, it would mean that Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. Then there were the 2 journalists, Hisako Mayamiya and Yudai Hashimoto. Add me to that, and you had a total of 3 outsiders, but I put that aside for now. Anyway, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Saranaga. To make it worse, not one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. The next day, Kemi, who was in Saranaga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through Saranaga, I was also branded an ill omen. From what Kiyonosuke Natsuoshi said, it was safe to assume that it used to be customary to throw people like us into the Saranaga. And then there was the mist. The girl said something mysterious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mist arrives. I can only assume it was related to the same superstitions. After all, the mist came from the Saranaga itself. It and the river seemed to be central to the local customs and ideals. With that in mind, how was it dangerous? What was going to happen now? Yamabito, as in people from Yomi, the ancient Japanese land of the dead? Dead people came back through Saranaga, and they were corrupted. Well, that gave room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Saranaga that rose up in the mists? Did it turn people into zombies? Or was that about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that was already Japanese. What if you had 10% chance to be infected by the mists, but a 100% chance to be infected by another person? That explains why everyone had to isolate themselves like this. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put all that much thought into it, but that seemed like a good story. Sure, stuff like the boulders and the wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting. Then again, I knew this was a Hicksville and all, but I would be a superstition that science could explain so easily really survive in the modern world? It seems so weird. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. Don't make a sound. To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time on these delusions was because I was scared of things I didn't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to gods, devils, yokai, and then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot. But on the other hand, it was better than not seeing or not knowing what they really were. The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypothesis. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what was I feeling right now wasn't a fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. That meant that, outside, lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Or maybe, assuming I was right with my Saranaga sickness theory, it was people who came out to beat the shit out of those descended who didn't follow the rules, diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was the title given to the killer? Suddenly I heard a scream in the distance.
Well, okay, well, first thing he does is he goes outside. Well, I definitely see why we're coming back to this choice later. Probably the first thing we realize is don't go the fuck outside.
Wow, that was some timing. Where I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me, and it was all right outside. I had gotten really dark. There were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived equals unknown equals dangerous equals scary. Leaving this place was dangerous. Dangerous equals scary equals scary equals scary equals scary. Scary things are scary, no matter how much logic you apply. But I couldn't distract my desire to get to know the fear that conquers. I opened the door and stepped in place. The night was in absolute darkness. No matter how dark or cloudy it was, the sky always gave a bit of light to us.
However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman who had come from the right. Or come from the right. I couldn't let myself think that. Rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear for those which were directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have fear of losing someone as well. Change the line of thought, however. Solving the mystery might save someone, 2 birds with 1 stone. I began walking faster. And the scream was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I was unarmed, so I looked around for anything to use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were any branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. Almost teared up on how useless it seemed. But it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I first checked the ground with my feet. And since I might have been close to danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. I recognized the danger and, if possible, get rid of it. I concentrated entirely and I stepped forward. I couldn't hear the screams anymore.
What do you mean, Fire? You've obviously been watching Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. I mean, it's in the title of the stream and everything. I mean, they really did some extreme things, changing the, like, they strayed away from an RPG and made it a visual novel, but, you know, I played the first part and I was pretty okay with the small changes that they made. This is a big change, but you know what? A lobster in a hot pot. But I could hear other things. A wet sound. And the sound of something cracking. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward. Forward. Until I saw it. Oh. My hypotheses were nothing but delusions. The truth was something you had to see for yourself. But why? Why was this so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there's no such thing as werewolves. The next morning, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu, 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led to the discoverers to conclude that it was the traveler, Haruki Cloud Strife. Okay, so the basic summary so far is a guy was traveling out in the wilds of Japan, up in the, you know, where there isn't any civilization. He fell down a cliff, found a mysterious village. People want him out. There's a bunch of people there who shouldn't be there. 2 people properly visiting, 1 amnesia girl. He met a bunch of people. The girl he met is nice. All the other people are kind of weird. He ended up finding the little girl who also got there, who doesn't have her memories. And he also met some kind of mystic lady who's watching over her. And a very weird scene happened where arrows were used to point to things that they were describing. And then suddenly the mist came, and apparently he was killed by a werewolf. He's still moving. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. Ayamibito, purge him! And so goodbye, Haruki-chan, was finished off by the girl. The feast begins. The last thing I heard, I'll hang the wolf. Was that? Raging loop. Unveiled arrival. Raising loop. Obtain key 2. Werewolf and Resurrect. Yeah, okay. So the key you gained was don't open the fucking door. You can view it in the keys list. The route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number in the scenario chart. Yeah, okay. Bad ending number 2. Wait, if this is bad ending number 2, I wonder what the first bad ending was. No, I don't need the hint corner yet. Alright, so if I go to the... Yeah, I don't want to go back to the very beginning. I closed it on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down the unknown road. Okay, yeah, we don't... I want to hit the chart. I don't have the keys to do any of this, so we need to go back to the dense mist. This is where we need the key. Okay, I can grab that as well too. Okay, so this, you need key 20 for that. You need a bunch of different keys for that one. So this is where we want to start off with. We just don't want to die. Suddenly, I hear a scream in the distance. Keep still. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. So here's the question I want to know. Is this story going to be... Is me looping and getting these keys? Are these going to be part of the story? Or is this part of what makes it in quotes game? So is me getting the key just like me, the player, getting information that now lets me interact with it so they can tell me the story in the proper order they want to tell the story? And instead of me just like choosing the right answer, they want me to see what the wrong answer was, then give me correct answers. I assume there'll be other story bits that I go through that if I choose a proper one, maybe it will give me like a key. Like maybe if I chose a different one with the girl in like her first conversations, maybe there was a different one I could have chose that would have given me like a different route somewhere. Who knows? Anyway, maybe there's a different death in there as well. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, it could be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain, like the existence of murderers. But until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear. Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. I reached the top of the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Kemi. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous, and maybe I could help if I went out. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint, and I had no plans to rectify that. If there was something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers thus far. But right now, it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Shit, what the hell were those memories? Okay, so it's part of the story is the fact that I remember what's going on in the loops. So, the question is there something actually causing the loop? Or is there something else that is making me remember? Is it magic? Is it something mundane? Is it dumb? Is it going to be dumb in the end? And it's just like it's a story, get over it? Because I'm fine with that. Because that makes it an interesting story, you fucking idiot. Okay. It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized it as something I'd experienced. But how? After all, I was still alive, and the time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? My God, I swore I never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear and the pain and death that followed were exactly what awaited for me when I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move. Immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I lost my chance to leave. I wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions, but this still didn't feel good. Not to mention, I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I was curious. I didn't even feel saved until that moment. Suddenly, the door began to shake. This place had a handle on the outside, and someone was pulling on it hard. There was a lock, sure, but it was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull it from the inside, but... Get in there, lock yourself in, stay inside the whole night, and don't make a sound. What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing had lots of other ways of hurting me. But what if it didn't know about me, and I was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear to what it was doing? Would it just leave? Or maybe this is somebody who is running away, is trying to hide in here, and we're about to watch them die? They're pulling on the door hard because they're just, scared and trying to get inside. I chose just to wait and see. Once again, someone pulled the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped down a scream and focused on the lock. If it broke, it'd be over for me. Over, as in I'd be dead. That was what that memory told me. I was powerless back then, and even more so now. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I heard that teeth were the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite? Yeah, I'd tear whatever was apart with my teeth. I'd bite it to death. Gathered my wits and killing intent. Grinding my teeth, I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I slowly count to 500. If nothing happened in that time, I'd assume it went away. I'll drink some more water. There were no screams or attacks after that, but the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. So that thing actually existed here. Was it what the mists brought here from Saranaga? The wolf is coming. Did they all know about this? Shit. I couldn't learn anything in a place like this, and not knowing things scared me. Trusting my prescience or deja vu. Okay, me playing that song early in the stream is really fucking coming back now. Like that bit really fucking carried. Or whatever it was, I chose to stay quiet and wait. I'd find out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and then talk to Kemi. And if that was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bike repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if I didn't work. I'd walk the Kamifuji Yoshi if I had to. Unlike Yasumizu, they might have a reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. Well, looks like we did it. I never liked seeing night gradually turn brighter as the morning arrives. It always made me feel like shit. Like I'd just done something harmful, both for my body and as a human being in general. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcome the morning well rested with a smile. I never expected to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door in an house. It felt as if the beasts had been outside and about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant, but even trying to move them had made it more uncomfortable for myself, like a matter of life and death. Maybe it was a good thing I couldn't relax, but hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. When I heard Kemi shout, "Haruki-san!" in the distance, I was so overcome with relief I almost fell to my knees. If this turned out to be a trick and I opened the door to see some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat, I'd just give up and let it have me at this point. With that in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I seen yesterday, so what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. What the hell was up with this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Did someone line every inch of this place with dry ice or something? Haruki-san! I could hear Kemi, but not see her. Kemi-chan, I'm right here! Haruki-san,
What were that?
I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist. Are you okay?
I'm stuck in the field.
I walked up and saw exactly what I expected. A girl struggling to free one of her legs stuck deep in a paddy field. Ah, the wet sock motif continues. I see. Well, good luck.
Hey, help me out.
Oh, you can't do it yourself? Take my hand then. And out you go.
What?
I took her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and... Whoa! Safe!
Headlock. This is a wrestling move. You're actually pulling it off.
Despite how close we were, this wasn't the least bit romantic.
Anyway, I'm glad you're okay.
I definitely remembered a time where I was far from alright though. Yeah, I guess I am. I had no idea what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention it. I did feel like there was some beast outside. Kemi's expression immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to. I have lots of questions right now, but I'm more interested in that scream I heard than anything else.
That was...
Huh? You know what I mean? She fell silent, clearly uncomfortable with this pretty ominous.
This way. No point in denying the inevitable.
Kemi gave me a hand. I took it, but I didn't feel the least bit excited about this. She led me down the path to the school dorm.
Oh, Fujiyashi-san, you're okay. Congrats on surviving, Toilet Man.
Thanks, warm futon man. You're okay too. Wait, Miss Haru-chan. Did she...
Oh, she's fine. She's suffered quite a shock, so she's taking a while to get dressed.
I see. So the rest of you have already gotten a move on?
How did you even handle Mika there anyway? Were you asleep?
As if I could. I had no idea when I could get out. Should just wait until I heard Kemi-chan's voice.
You were awake?
Yasunaga-kun made it sound like that was weird. You try sleeping in there, guy? Can't even sit, much less lie down.
No, that's not what I see. I really hate it when people will just trail off like that.
It makes me way too curious. Why are you here anyway?
Waiting for Hara-chan and keeping a lookout.
A lookout?
We're not letting anyone near the scene until the situation is clear.
Scene? So someone actually...
Want to see? It's a good way to test your stomach. Mochi, don't mess around like that.
Yeah, I do. The invisible and unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention I could already smell something foul. I lightly moved them aside and walked up the so-called scene. Is it the news lady? Or one of the villagers? There was a corpse. It was in such a horrible state it was hard to recognize it as human. I imagined this is what you would have gotten if you overturned the butcher's cart. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. Also, the butcher would have had to deal in entrails. Enough of that comparison. Staring my eyes to look through the thick mist, I could actually make out some human parts within the vast sea of blood, or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothing, hair, and a shoulder bag. How professional. She kept hold of her interviewing tool. Yeah, okay. Of interviews even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors though. So what you're saying is the guy with the camera is not dead and we can set that camera up. Despite the body's state, it wasn't hard to tell the victim was Sasako Miyamiya, the small-time food journalist. That thing. Did it come to me once it was done murdering her? This is awful.
Were you alright? Feel nauseous or anything?
Kemi-san was standing a short distance away, looking at nothing in particular. I got nothing to puke up in. Well, I'm used to this.
Is that what you were studying in college?
Well, I guess you can say that.
Huh? Seriously? So you can do autopsies and stuff?
When I asked if they study medicine, I guess you can say that is what students of similar departments say to make themselves look good, but I did see a few pathology analysis. I crouched down and put my hands together. Then, grimacing at the harrowing reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food, I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. This corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they were folded in an unnatural way that looked really flattened. They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. Then, her whole body had been torn apart. The innards were practically badly damaged. The words wolfed down felt like the best way to describe it. Okay, so what he's saying is it's almost as if she was eaten and crushed without even being chewed or something like that. Either that or she was just grabbed and like twisted into like a pretzel, maybe? Him saying that the words wolfed down kind of feels like it swallowed whole and was just like crushed in the throat. I found it hard to describe, but then was she shit out whole? Maybe it wasn't a werewolf, maybe it's just a giant snake. I found that hard to describe. That wasn't my job, so there wasn't much I could tell about it without touching it. This is way beyond anything I've seen before. I can barely tell what happened here. I had the urge to add that seemed inhuman, but I kept myself from saying that. Anyway, we should call the police. Leave it to the pros. I said something any good citizen would, but for some reason, they didn't seem to agree.
Haruki-san, the police won't come.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, someone died.
They won't.
Then let's evacuate.
That's not happening either.
Why? We have my bike and their van.
Anyway, with Fushisha-san, we now have all the survivors, so let's go to the dining hall. We'll wait for Haru-chan. Yeah, you do that. Let's go, Haruki-san.
Can I get an explanation?
Sorry, but not in the mood for explanations. Figure it out for yourself.
It was the first time Kemi had acted so harsh with me. I was pretty irritated myself, but it must have been worse for them. They actually had the info on what was happening here. Yeah, so in the end, it turns out that this is an Outer Wild stream, and they're not going to tell me anything, and I'm going to have to figure it out all on my own. There's just constant redactions no matter what I do. No matter what I stream, everything's fucking redacted. Sorry, that was insensitive of me. Kemi said nothing more than just silently walked off. I followed after her. When we reached the plaza, I instantly understood what she said about evacuating. The bike and the van were both completely destroyed. The latter was in a particularly bad state. The front window was broken, and the 4 tires were flat, etc. The bike was off to the side. Its front fork was broken. Well, it was basically scrap metal now. Fuck. So all we need to do is use the time loop to put the bike inside of a house, and then we're fine. Or take the one guy's car out of his garage, get rid of it, and put the van in there. Easy peasy. There was a rock right next to it. Guess we had a weapon. And there were more remains inside the van. It looked like an enormous mountain of flesh and bone. Oh, alright, they got the other guy too. If I didn't know about Yudai Hashimoto-shi, I'd have assumed there were 2 or 3 corpses in there. Hashimoto-san? Kemi slowly nodded. I now know we'd lost not only 2 lives, but any means of transportation as well. Look there. She pointed at a wooden electrical pole. The line was dangling, torn apart, with no hope for repair. The other power lines are fine, but the dining halls was destroyed along with the telephone line. We can't contact the outside. Okay, I was assuming they were saying they won't come because they know not to come here, not because we couldn't call. I took out my own phone. It worked, but the battery was almost dead, and like before, it was out of range. The situation had become even harsher than before. Look here, too. Kemi walked a few steps away. I followed after. There was a large boulder. It was tall enough to reach an average roof, and there were drawings on it. A crimson symbol of some sort. What did it represent? At first, it looked like an incoherent mess of lines. However, I soon realized it was a pattern. It felt like the calling card of some street gang. From what I could tell, the basis was a warped diamond shape with a spiral inside. There were 2 of them. They seemed to be drawn in blood, but that wasn't nearly as disturbing as the bizarre shape. 2 wolves have snuck into the village. We have to fight. Kemi made a quiet declaration. Apparently, the settlement had been invaded by something malicious, and it was intelligent enough to rid of all means of escape or contacting help. I could understand that much, but it didn't make sense to me. This wasn't some isolated island. There was a cliff, sure, but you could still go down Saranaga or go to Kamafujiyoshi. I'd ask about that next time I had the chance.
Sorry.
Huh?
Sorry I got mad. It must be hard for you too.
Don't worry about that. I'm just an outsider.
Don't say that.
Oh, porters of words on my part? I mean, I'm an outsider who doesn't know the rules, so I'll just silently watch for the time being. I'm tired, but I think I'm less shaken by this than most people, so I figured it would be best for me to stay cool. I imagine even the elders here are more bothered by this.
Haruki-san, are you really just some university graduate?
Huh? What else could I be?
I don't know. You seem way too calm about this, like you're used to situations like this.
Oh yeah, this is just not my first mystery visual novel. Don't mind me. I'm just coming out of a different one. I stumbled into this one. That's what the first memory where I try to remember the visions of my past. This is just a sequel. Remember, this is the Final Fantasy remake part 2. I'm just remembering part 1 where I blew up the Cinder building. So I'm feeling kind of like I got this. We took down all the shadows in Sephiroth. So a werewolf murdering a random person? Please, come on. I can handle this. Cloud Strife can handle this. My nerves are pretty messed up, I guess. The small dining hall was jam-packed with people. You survived. Good morning. I guess it's not very good considering what's going on.
I'm sorry, I didn't prepare enough tea.
Oh, it's okay.
You did it, didn't ya?
The younger Orby boy menaced me. No, I didn't. Why'd you think that?
Shut it! Where the hell you get all strutting in like that?
Stop it, Yoshibo. You're the one who needs to shut it.
The hell? You're the one who said this bastard shady.
Man, I hadn't expected to be treated this badly. I'm saying this ain't a matter of a brat like you, and you're bothering Karu-san, right?
Takumi-san, please come down. Let's keep it peaceful.
It's
fine. We'll talk it out.
Thus I offer homage to Shanai, the Almighty, so peace may come to pass. Thus I offer homage to Shanai, the Almighty, so peace may come to pass.
Stop, Teba. That's a bad omen. Where's the key to the meeting hall?
I gave it to Yumatsu-san 2, maybe 3 days ago. Said she'd fix the podium.
Well, Missy?
I'll go and get it.
That was the woman. So she wasn't just an illusion. Yurimatsu-sama was her name, huh?
I thought her eyes met for a second, but she just walked by me.
Wait. Migo-chan, wait here for a moment.
That girl was here too. Deeper in, there was Kinosuke no Shatoshi, clearly irritated by something. And not too far away, there was the old man who cried wolf, just like yesterday. It was hard to tell what he was looking at, let alone thinking. They were the only ones sitting, by the way. The others were all just idly standing. This right here is interesting, because they were the only ones sitting, by the way. It's like he's literally telling me this. Like, why would you add by the way? Unless you were like literally telling me as like is he literally narrating this to somebody? The others were all just idly standing around.
Bob, everyone, we're back. Come in, Haru-chan. Okay.
The 3 students were here. With them, the settlement's entire population had gathered. As for the outsiders, the journalists were dead, while I and the mysterious girl had survived. I didn't know the circumstances, but they probably had their reasons to be suspicious of me. Suddenly, Kemi did something unexpected.
Rikaku-san, can you wait a moment?
She stopped the girl who was about to go out and get some key. Each villager seemed to call her differently, so I didn't know what to call her myself.
This is Haruki Fushiashi-san. He crashed his bike and I met him in Saranaga.
Oh, hello. An introduction. Now? Why?
This is Rikaku Yumimatsu-san. Yumimatsu is made of the kanji for spin and en. Pretty rare, right? Well, she's the current head of the Yumimatsu household, one of the chief families of the Kamafujiyoshi. I'm Rikako Uematsu. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh. So she was like the local celebrity, huh? Kiyonosuke Shi's not-so family?
And that's Miko-chan. We only call her that because we don't know what her real name is. Bye.
Hello there, nice to meet you. The girl they call Miko trembled a bit and...
Oh my.
Whoa. Sprinted through the crowd to hide behind Rikaku Yumatsu. So, what do you want to say, Kemi?
I suggest not inviting Haruki Fukushima to the feast.
I felt a wave of perplexion go through the room.
Gee, that ain't how it works.
The feast is there to help us decide if he's shady or not, right? Their expressions were stern and their words harsh.
No, I'm saying he doesn't even have the right to participate in the feast.
The hell you talking about? He's the shadiest of us all.
Yoshi-kun, you did prepare for the feast?
Huh? Yeah, I did.
Who didn't?
How was I supposed to react? No one else was raising their hands, so I had no idea what they were talking about. Me, probably? I don't even know what that entails.
The other two who didn't prepare for the feast were taken by the corruption. However, Haruki-san wasn't. I think the Okami-sama ignored him.
Okami-sama? As in Wolf-sama? Why the reverence? And what was she even talking about?
He's from Saranaga, sure, but he clearly just passed by. In fact, I think he'd get in the way of the feast. No, for all we know, forcing him into the forest would just make the Okami-sama mad.
What do you think, Ba-chan?
Did you really survive without preparation?
What was I supposed to do?
Purify, shelter, dream. Basically, cleanse your body, lock up in a single building all by yourself, and wait for the dawn while asleep.
I didn't then. I was in an outhouse by myself, but that's it. I didn't bathe and spent the night awake. The place got all noisy. They probably didn't expect that answer.
I don't know. This never happened before.
Tei-san sounded genuinely puzzled.
What do you think, Rikaku-san?
I had no idea what the dynamics were at work here, but Kemi asked for Rikaku Yumatsu's opinion.
I consent to the idea. If our great lord Shinai chose to spare him, he must be exempt from the rules of the mountain.
The words created even more commotion.
So there.
Kemi, you know what you're doing, right? If we remove him...
Yeah, we won't have to waste our hanging for the day.
Old man, what do you think? It was a roundabout, but in the end, once again, the one to make the final call was Kanzo Mikashamashi.
He won't be in the feast,
Old man,
but...
glaring directly at me, the old man walked through the gathering and approached me. Seeing him from up close, I realized just how big and burly he was. It was pretty typical of someone living in a place like this, but it felt out of place in someone his age. His expression displayed both an inner strength to match his physique and profound rage.
If the laws of the mountain don't work out for you, you'll be our rules you follow. If you don't, I'll shoot you dead.
He spoke slowly, yet decisively. Man, this was uncomfortable.
Hold on. If he can be excluded, I would like the same to happen to Rikaku-san and I.
Huh? Why?
We're from the Kamifujiyoshi. We have no reason to be playing along with Saranaga's business.
Nasato-sama, that won't do. If you're here on the day of the feast, it doesn't matter if you're not Sato, Yomatsu, Migurama, or Higurashi.
Uncle, that'll mean Yasada and I could leave too. We were both disinherited. That's different. Why must people that are still part of the four families take... that's just the dude again, not the kid. You were both disinherited. That's different. Why must people that are still part of the four families take part in this idiocy?
Listen here, Kyo.
Don't call me that, Muro. Let's go, Rikaku-san. We have no reason to play with these peasants. No, Masato-sama. Those in Fujiyoshi have a duty to remain present. All remains are in the hands of Shinai-sama, and we now gather upon the platter named Yasumizu.
But if you got a problem, then get out. Let the corruption take you.
Kiyanosuke eventually fell silent, and Rikako left to get the key, probably. He returned in no time, and everyone began leaving.
You're not coming with us.
Alright, where to then?
Takumi, is the cage open?
Oh, well, yeah. Alright, I'll take him.
Come with me.
Everyone went to some hall near the village plaza, while Takumi led me elsewhere. We made our way through the tall grass between the buildings. At a dead end next to the wild trees and a rocky cliff, there was a large cage. It even had a roof that would have passed for a hut with a bit of work.
This is where we keep the live game we capture. Sorry, but you'll have to wait here.
I can't say no, can I?
Don't take it the wrong way, okay? You'll be out once we're done with the feast. It won't take long.
And I can't get any details, huh?
Yeah, I do feel bad about this, but you should be thankful you don't need to take part in the feast.
How was I supposed to feel that way if I didn't even know what the feast was? I'd have asked, but he looked pretty irritated, probably because he wanted to get it over with. So I kept my mouth shut. The floor of the cage was mostly gravel, with spaces of wheat and other things littered about. There was a vague and not clear scent of beasts. Can I lie down here? I figure I should sleep somewhere I can.
Man, you're brash.
No, just a coward. I don't want to die is all. That was why I'd abandoned those people. After Takumi-san locked me in and left, I laid down and closed my eyes. The ground was hard and it reeked pretty bad, but it was still an improvement over the outhouse. I should have taken the time to think about what the villagers had said, about my strange memories and about how I could get the hell out of here. That was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I'd just be swept away upon an unproductive spiral of regret if I went down that rabbit hole. Had I always been this admirable of a person? Another thing. For some reason, I felt like I'd spend the entirety of this time just watching the battle, so I decided that I'd focus on resting in preparation for what was to come.
Everyone,
I was honestly surprised they're letting us see this. Wait, who's this? Who's this random person with a bow? The way they made it sound, everyone was here, and our character never mentioned this person. Who the fuck is this?
everyone sitting then. Let's begin the feast of the Yomi Purge. Yuematsu-sama, if you may. This is sacred sake, presented to us by Shinai-sama. Please drink it, starting from the youngest. Sake? You just put your mouth to it. No drinking for you kids.
Not like it'd kill me. Stop it, Yoshigutsu. You say something to Yasunaga? Yoshinitsu, this is for the tradition's sake. I know it's for tradition's sake, but I mean honestly, that's what I was thinking. Is this a person that no one else can see but us? So we're all sitting here being like, it's the wolf. It's that. It's right there. This random person. Oh, well, no, that's somebody who's been here the whole time. Or is this maybe like who we're seeing, or maybe this is the person we're seeing this all go through? Because if we're in a cage, how the fuck, like we are seeing this, but the main character's not. I don't want to drink this. Wait. Oh, no, that's Mochi. Oh, yeah, okay. The kid's just in drag. All right. Gender fluid. I would just kiss it. There's dudded. I'm dead too. Same here. Same here, Chiani. All right, adult time. Here I go. This is enough for me. It's better than I expected, Muro.
We're drinking sake during the day. The feast is something here. The feast is something. Here, old man. Don't spill it, Teba.
I'll have it. Can you hold it, mister? Sake! Sake!
That's done, Teba. Explain.
Y'all know the tales, don't you? When the evening mist comes, the Okami-sama, the wolves, come back to life and they try to slay the humans. There were two symbols on the Yomitsu Okami. That means that two wolves have risen. That's why we must do as Shinai-sama says, and throw feasts so we can find and hang them using the powers of the guardians some of us were given. If we don't, we will be taken by the corruption that means dying a horrible death. To avoid the corruption, we must have feasts to slay the wolves. That is our role as inhabitants of Yoshimitsu. Oni-chan, what does slay mean? It means kill. Scary. It's fine. I'll protect you. Sorry for the interruption, Yamawaki-san. It's okay. Children always do that. She's not the only one among us who could be a wolf.
Good grief, what nonsense. If that's what you think, then just fuck off and let the corruption have ya.
You shit-san. Oh, Ruby-san, I'm concerned about your son's upbringing.
I'm like this because I wanna be. Don't drag the hag into this. Shut up, Yoshigu. I'll punch you.
Huh? Takumi ni, the hell you're acting tough for?
If I say I'll punch you, I will. You too, Kyo. Just shut up and listen. You don't have the guns.
Hear that? Okay, so if I was going to be a betting man, if the mystery of this game is finding the two people here who are the wolves and hanging them. So the main person that we know the most could just be a wolf, and that's going to be like a heart-wrenching moment when we have to kill the person we've been interested in this entire time. So that's one of my guesses. My guess, it's going to be her and the old lady, maybe. Maybe those will be my guesses. And this kid probably has nothing to do with anything. This feels like a red herring. Although, honestly, it could just be anyone. But here's my initial guess, not knowing anything about this game. It's the old lady and the chemistry girl, who I probably am saying her name wrong. And Tifa, there we go. It's Tifa. Tifa and the old lady. Those are my guesses.
But don't let stuff like that get to them anyway. Ba-chan, this doesn't seem right to me. I've been hearing about this ever since I was young, but it never made sense to me. We've been here for so long, as we can remember. With the exception of Miko, we all know each other. Have they been replaced by wolves? Like hell. The same as always.
Takumi, you're being naive.
What? You're saying there's someone shady among us?
I have to do it. I have to do it, chat. I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to do it. I have to do it.
Everyone's shady.
Audi-chan.
You be careful too, Haru. Even beasts can trick people, and people trick better than any beast. There are things that are acting like they're one of us.
Why are you so confident?
There's truth in what the ancestors said.
Well, if you say so. What?
That's just what Yuzumitsu's dubskulls say, isn't it?
Chikamochi.
Again, you are irrelevant little. Mochi, stop. Mochi, stop that. I'm sorry. So what do we do now?
What do you mean? We talk and decide, right?
Will that be enough? I mean, we're deciding who to kill here, aren't we?
Everyone will say what they think. We'll narrow down the most reasonable option.
Shieni, what do you think?
I think it's a mess. We already have people who think no one's shady and who think everyone else is. Yammering on about something can't be reasonably decided is a waste of time. Besides, in the end, this is going to be decided by whoever's most influential.
So some of my thoughts also were, like I said, not knowing anything here. The crazy old man is too obvious. The guy who you kind of want to hate is too obvious, so it's probably not him. The delinquent kid could be it, but he's probably just a shithead. Maybe it's her too. His daughter could also be an easy option. Or his daughter could be an easy option. But who knows? This is literally just completely blind stabbing at stuff.
Don't worry too much, Kemi. Most of us here are Yoshimitsu brothers and sisters who work out in the end.
I appreciate that you're being so considerate, but We're talking about killing someone here. Plus, it gets worse. If you don't want to pick someone close to you, you'll choose someone else. Someone you don't like or a stranger. Personally, I think you shouldn't let that kind of thing affect your decision. It'd be a grave mistake.
Hey, I'm trying to say that killing and all that shit is insane. We should stop it.
So is the main character not being part of a feast means they can never choose him as a sacrifice or to be hung? Is he the only person who's not suspicious? Or will eventually they hang enough people where they start getting suspicious of our character and they kill me anyway?
That won't do, Takumi.
Ba-chan's saying the same thing. That's why we gotta talk it out, you know?
I know what you're trying to say, but
Can I? Haru-chan speaking. What's the likelihood of the guy Chine brought being the one who killed the journalist?
see, what did I just say?
I don't think he did. It's just my gut, though. What about you guys?
Takumi, you said he's shady.
Yeah, I did. But like Kemi said, we shouldn't make decisions based on that. Also, the guy's weird. I don't think he'd do something like that.
I'm with you on that. This is our problem, so we should solve it by ourselves.
This isn't basically choosing someone based on who you like.
So how do you think we should choose Kyodoski-san?
I believe majority rules the most reliable method here. Yasunaga already begun.
Hail democracy and all that. It's not very like you.
I'm merely saying that there's no better way on the common opinion of this many people. Also, talking it out and making that decision then is basically taking the conclusion that most people agree with. No, that's the same as majority rule. Otherwise, like you mentioned, everything would be decided by who had the most influence. Who would that be here in Yasumizu? Kanzo, Makishimishi, Tei Yamakawa-san? And who would be killed? Me, of course, the non-local. Isn't that foolish, considering the people deciding among themselves be wolves?
Natsuo-san.
Just so you are aware, I have no intention of dying. At the very least, I want a method where I have a say in what happens.
I'm against that. Majority rule? Yeah, you got a conclusion, but there's no guarantee that'll be right. I still think talking it out and deciding then is best.
Speaking of which, what would we even talk about?
Teiba-chan, you said something about the Guardians of the Mountain lending their aid, right?
Yes. The snake, the monkeys, the crow, and the spider will lend us their aid.
Do you know the details?
The snake! Oh, old fart, what do you know about it? The snake can ask the mountain who's a wolf. There are two monkeys. They both know who the other monkey is. The crow could ask the mountain if the hanged one was a wolf. The spider can ask the mountain to protect someone from the wolves, but only for one night. That's what I've been told too. The wolf has come.
I wasn't aware you knew this. I thought you were just senile, but it looks like you're pious too.
Alright, so do we also need to figure out who the others are? So we need to figure out who's the mountain, who's the crow, who's the spider, and something else, I think. Oh, the two monkeys. Yeah. Anyway.
That means some of us here should have those powers.
What do you mean? Wait, do God and the Guardians even exist? Isn't it just some serial killer using old folktales as cover? Haru-chan, God really does exist. You just believe he does. No, all of us must have seen Shinai-sama at least once in our lives. But that's... Calm down, Haru-chan, are you alright? Yeah, I'm sorry. Whether it's true or not, we should start by putting together what we know. It's too early to decide anything.
Let's make the Guardian thing a bit easier to understand.
Can't you young'uns remember the old tales better?
The snake sees, the monkey holds hands, the crow tastes, and the spider protects.
The snake can discover the wolves among the people. It's also the guardian beast of the Migara family. The monkeys know for certain that the other monkeys aren't wolves. It's the guardian beast of the Higachi family. The crow can tell if the one who died was a wolf or not. It's my family's, Natsuo's, guardian's beast.
That's pretty sad.
Silence. And the spider can keep the wolves from entering someone's home. It's Uematsu's guardian.
Indeed. Each family's crests represent their guardians too. But how do those chosen by those guardians use their powers?
The snake writes the name of one still living person on something and puts it under their pillow before bed. The next morning, Shinai-sama tells them whether it's a human or a wolf. There are two monkeys, and Shinai-sama tells them who are the other monkey is the moment they are granted protection. There are two monkeys, and Shinai-sama tells them who the other monkey is the moment they're granted protection.
Okay. So a person has the ability to grant protection to a person. Once they do that, that person then knows that they are what they are, and it can tell someone else. Okay. So everybody is going to have to sleep with a different name underneath their pillow. And the one person, I mean, you'll never know unless somebody actually goes into a house to try to. So I guess, okay, that's a pretty. This is a pretty cool puzzle to have to solve. Then you'd have to, or you make it where everybody sleeps with the same name underneath their thing, and then that one person just makes a ruckus, and then the wolves can't get inside, even though the wolves would be able to get inside. Maybe, who knows? We'll see how this goes. Anyway.
A crow is told whether the person who was hanged the day before is a human or not. The spider writes the name of one still living person and places it on their pillow. That person will be protected from the wolves. The person who knows the mountain, that person just puts someone's name underneath their pillow, and then they know if they're a wolf or not. And if they put one of the other guardians underneath. However, if everybody slept with a name underneath their heads and multiple people said, oh, I know that this person's a wolf, or I know this person's a monkey, or I know this person's the spider, it could be one of the wolves lying their ass off. Okay, this is a cool, like I said, this is a cool puzzle. I like this a lot. Okay. Yeah, you literally showed me this a couple of months ago. Yeah. With these methods, we must use the powers of the Guardians to pick someone to hang each day. If we catch all the wolves, we win. If the wolves get everyone else, we lose. Do you understand now?
Yes, but
Where did you even learn this?
I heard it from my Oba-chan.
wait, that means that those who have village head family blood have their guardians, right?
I'm not sure about that. I mean, we don't have anyone with Muragama blood, disowned or not. I heard that. The Guardians are very fickle about who they lend their aid to.
Oh, let me guess. My character's a random fucking descendant from that exact family.
Then who are they?
If they reveal it, they might make themselves targets for the wolves. We won't get anything done if we can't talk about it, though.
You think so? What if...
Screw this. We're wasting time here. Listen up. My guardian's the snake.
Huh?
What? Takumini, is that true?
Wrong with that one.
Takumini, is that true? How do you even know that?
I forgot to explain that. The Guardians come when we're dreaming and leave a mark for their chosen ones. If you wish to borrow their power, write it up and put it in your pillow. The mark will give you their answer.
Yeah, I had a mark on me. I don't remember the dream, though.
The snake sees. Does that mean Takumi Nichan already knows who are the wolves here?
No. As I said, he has to write it up, and he can only choose one person per night.
Huh, so we don't know anything until tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Can I ask something, Moro?
What is it?
Why do you even reveal such important information for no reason?
What do you mean, why? We have no other information to go on.
Which you could just be lying. Bum bum bum. Unless he shows us the mark.
Based on what's been said, the snake's power is very important. It makes you a very powerful asset in the fight against the wolves. So, revealing it like you did puts you in grave danger.
I ain't scared at all.
How can you say that? Did you see what those monsters did to those people?
Oh, so you believe in monsters?
It was a figure of speech, anyway. This turn of events cost us a valuable weapon.
No, just decide that. You don't know shit.
Yes, I do. Listen to me, everyone. Anything you say here is for information for the wolves. We should talk things out without overplaying our hands, yeah? That's okay. So, and that's also why
I'm not part of the game, or I'm not part of the main character is not part of the game, or Cloud. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna call him Cloud. We're going with the gag even further. So the reason why Cloud isn't part of the gang here is because he can't be one of the Guardians. So he never would have gotten the vision, and was not marked as well, of course. So Cloud is just a complete outsider who might just not be part of anything here, which is the reason why he's out. Okay. I'm the one speaking now. Right, fool, Yasu, speak. Huh? To make the best use of Takumi's reveal, the spider should protect him. The spider among us, without revealing his or her identity, should write his name down, I suppose, and protect him. That would keep him safe. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. Yasu, old man, you'll be safe today. I asked the snake to tell you about someone.
Whatever he finds out will definitely be correct, right?
Right.
Takumi-chan, can you promise you won't lie no matter who you investigate and what result you get?
Of course I won't.
Isn't that good enough for today? I don't think we can hang anyone without any kind of proof.
You sure that's okay?
Why wouldn't it be?
Just sitting around and waiting doesn't suit me, okay?
I know that. Oh, by the way, I think Takumi-san should tell us who he'll investigate.
Why?
So if you investigate someone and don't like the result, you can't lie that you actually investigated someone else.
What the? I wouldn't lie.
That's reasonable. I'd say it's necessary for Mura, considering how pathetic he is to Yasumitsu's inhabitants.
He's not that special in that regard. Everyone who wants to protect their own, but the situation doesn't allow that. There's another positive to that. We can all discuss and decide who we should investigate first, right?
True. I'd like to talk about that too. Who do you think I should go for, Yasunaga?
I'm not too sure, but I think we should start with the one who's most likely to be unjustly chosen to be hanged.
That would be me, honestly. I feel as though I can't speak if I'm not confirmed to be human.
If I was doing this, if I was doing this and everything worked out, the first person that I would choose would either be the little girl, just to cross that off, just to cross that off, or the old dude. Not the crazy guy, but the old village head. Give that a shot.
You're speaking quite a lot if you ask me.
Then I'll investigate Kyo. Is that okay?
Fine by me. Then we're not hanging anyone today.
Is that really fine?
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. That's it for today. I was woken up by several voices.
He's actually sleeping. Was, anyway.
We're done for today. Sorry for the wait.
Good to hear. Unfortunately, waking up provided that this whole mess wasn't a nightmare. So, is the feast some sort of ritual? The kind you do to ward off evil or whatever?
No, it's more of a gathering. You know, magic.
I see. So you try to find the culprit?
Haruki-san, you don't beat around the bush, do you?
Yeah, I realize I'm the real victim here, so I need information. It's a tall order to stay alive without any.
Takumi-chan, can I tell him about this?
Yeah, better you than me. I gotta go clean up and stuff.
Takumi-san walked away. Clean up the bodies, I assume?
Yeah. Taiba-chan probably won't let us off until we set the Yamabito to Saranaga.
You're supposed to preserve the scene of a crime, right? This is doing the exact opposite. Then again, it didn't seem like anyone expected the cops to show up in the first place. Here's my first question then.
Let's take that somewhere more private.
Alright, I am going to hit the save here. These are auto saves. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I just want to put a... There we go. Alright, so happy April Fools, everybody. This was not Final Fantasy Remake Part 2. The question is... This is obviously a visual novel. The question is, I kind of want to keep reading this myself. if I did this not during mainstream times, but maybe on the weekend or maybe during the day, would anybody be interested in watching the VODs? Or would you rather be here while I'm actually reading it? Because I do want to do Chrono Trigger still, and I have to finish, whatchamacallit. So would you guys like this to do like a Sunday thing that I do if I have time? Because if it's like it's interesting, but I don't want this to be a stream thing because it might take up a lot of time, then I can just read it on my own. So I guess what I'll try doing is I'll try finding different points in time where I can do streams of this. What I guess I'll try doing is I'll try keeping the streams not super long anytime I do stream this, so that any information that somebody misses during a game won't be too much. Like if I stream during the day and no one's around, I can be like, oh yeah, here's a quick recap without being too much. It also, you know, stops my voice from kind of wearing out. This is almost 3.5 hours of constant talking, which is kind of drawing me out. But I could still keep going if I wanted to. But I think this was a good end before all the information that we just saw in that scene is, you know, delivered to our main character. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Happy April 1st. Happy April Fools. I'll be back tomorrow with more Outer Wilds. Hopefully still finishing that up this week. And then next week will be Chrono Trigger, and I'll be peppering this in throughout. And eventually I will do Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 at some point. I really do want to do it. Anyway.